Tuesday Inquiring Company, Colts and Packers. We get set for that. We talk Stephen Holder, and Scott Agnes joins us to talk about the Fever as well. Fun begins at noon till 3 on 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Here we go.
You really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Hey, motherfucker. What do you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
They give off to Jonathan Taylor. Jump cutting his way. Close to the goal line. He's in there. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Jonathan Taylor.
Wheeler finds Clark from the logo.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it! Hits it!
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
I was just talking to James off the air, who's back at the studio. I'm at Grant Park in Westfield for Colts camp. We got a late afternoon practice. That means I have to hustle ass up here and be a part of it. Well, it's a good deal because one of my favorites, and granted, I have had one conversation with him, but he is one of my favorites because he was outstanding when we had that conversation back in the spring. Mooney is on the show later on today. Yes, Charvarius Ward from that Colts secondary. Remember how good he was the first time. Me and Mooney are going to hang here at about 5:45 coming up later on this afternoon. So that is worth the time and the effort. And again, I got to give a shout out And I know oftentimes people say, well, you say so many things about him. I mean, it's constantly critical. How do they ever deal with you? The Colts have never had an issue with a word that I have said. So shout out to them. And they continue to get guests when guests come on the show. And that is a hell of a lot better than others. So that is outstanding. And a shout out to Matt Conti for that. And Mooney will join us coming up today at 5:45. I'm looking at you right now, waving at you too, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Hello to everybody there too. We had a fantastic weekend. I'm going to go into full detail. But I started out by suggesting, because off the air, I was talking to James, and I said, hey, James, there's some Win-Schuler's cheese somewhere on level 4 where you are right now. And it may be in the fridge. I know that I kind of turned over the cheese proceedings to Hammer and Nigel. So you may have to ask Allison, the producer, or Hammer or Nigel. But there is cheese from Win-Schuler's, and yes, all of you fans out there of the spreadability, make a note of this. The spreadability is back for 2025. Bob Nunez, their president, I was with him a little bit earlier, and in fact, I'm going to meet him at Crafters down in Carmel on my way home later on tonight, so we can talk up different ways that we can prop up the spreadability with you. So yes, I know this is going to make you excited for the upcoming fall more than anything else. Yeah, you can talk about pumpkin spice lattes and caramel apples and bluegrass music and tater bins and tube socks and going to the Covered Bridge Fest. But Win-Schuler's spreadability is at the top of the list for you, and Win-Schuler's cheese is back coming up here for the late summer and the early fall of 2025. And a shout out to Bob. And again, I'm going to go to Crafters with Bob coming up here when this is all over on my way home and hang out with him. We're thinking of real and unique ideas to, even more so than we did a couple of years ago, spread the word on the spreadability. And we do that coming up late summer and early fall. Win-Schuler's is back, everybody. And it is outstanding. So a shout-out to Bob and everybody who was asked about that, too. A shout-out to you, and I mean all of you that showed up at the Indiana State Fair for the JMV Takeover on Saturday night. It was tremendous. I you know this to be true. I love radio, and I certainly love the grassroots effort of radio, and that was it. Being out live, we had multiple personalities going. I was smart and savvy enough to bring Laura Steele out with me. Everybody loves Laura Steele, so Laura hung out with me for the better part of 6 hours, as did DJ Skids. And you guys came out to the tap room. The Urics as well, Monica and Jerry, as a part of the tap room. That is theirs. That was outstanding. They wanted us out there. They actually kept the place open, the tap room, until 11 o'clock for us. So if you're out at the State Fair, I'll be back out there again on Wednesday. But if you're out at the State Fair, make sure you go into the tap room and ask for Monica or Jerry and thank them, because they are outstanding people. And that was a great time with Laura Steele, with DJ Skids, and with all of you out there. I know Rob from Behringer's on the south side joined us for a little bit too. I saw so many of you. It is a trick to do the JMV Takeover live. I mean, it does entail a lot. It's not easy. But, man, is it worth it with radio in mind, because it is absolutely fun as hell. And we'll be doing it again coming up in a couple of weeks at Mystic Waters Campground. I'm going to try to pitch that to Bob about just a bunch of Win-Schuler's at Mystic Waters. That was awesome. Yesterday, as we celebrated 80 years at Sid's in Noblesville, was great. A shout-out to Brian and Michael and David and Rhonda and everybody there. They had a fantastic 4 days at Sid's in Noblesville. We're going to be back for a tavern tour stop at Sid's in Noblesville coming up on the 28th. That's going to be in longer form. Yesterday was just kind of quick hits with me and the guys there. But we're going to be back there coming up on the 28th for this August tavern tour stop with Heaven Hill Distillery at the legendary Sid's in Noblesville, as they are celebrating 80 years. Great place, as you well know. Great food and incredible tenderloin And I was there yesterday. It was great to see everybody out. And then our good friend J-Law, Jeff Lawrence, invited everybody from Sid's to hang out at his pool at the Foo Bar Lounge yesterday. So I went over there and hung out with everybody. We had Litzy was there, and Jess was there, and Nicole, and Harley D, and Chad, and Stacy, and Jeremiah, and Melissa, Susie, and J-Lo. Great time. I want to thank them for doing that as well. So we got to hang out there on Sunday afternoon, late afternoon, too. It was a fantastic weekend. It really was. For the Fever on Saturday, after losers of 2 straight, back on the winning track. Chicago's an absolute mess. If you can't tell that by the season they've had and by the way that they played against the Fever on Saturday. Fever have Dallas here in town at the Fieldhouse coming up tomorrow night, and then back at home against Washington on Friday. And, of course, right at the end of the show, I guess on Friday at the end of the show, we learned the circumstances with the injuries. There's been some additions, and you kind of cross your fingers, and you hope that at some point you do end up seeing Caitlin Clark back, because that is highly necessary. Speaking of injuries, we'll find out a little bit more today. So you've essentially here at Grand Park in Westfield have 2 more opportunities to see this product. Now, granted, later on today is going to be a late afternoon practice. Oh, look, there you are. You going to come over and join me later? Oh, cool. That's awesome. Alexa's in the house. But you have essentially today in the afternoon, and then the joint practice with the Packers. Just a little bit, Alexa, whenever you're okay. Is Hagan not out here today? A little bit later?
I don't believe him.
Okay. I'm not going to hold my breath in. So I'm sure, I'm sure it is. We'll talk to you a little bit later. So anyway, we what was I? Oh, yeah, today, the injury situations, because there have been a lot of them, whether you're talking about, wide receiver situations, Alec Pierce, quarterbacks back, quarterbacks going to still battle it out in the minds of the Colts brass, and Daniel Jones gets to start against the Packers coming up on Saturday, with Anthony Richardson getting a lot of work coming up in the first half. And then we shall find out. You know where I stand on this. It's going to be Anthony Richardson all the time. There's no question about it. And do I think that's any sort of solution? I don't, not from what I've seen. Nobody's standing out. But we've said this all along. If nobody was going to stand out, we knew that ultimately it was going to go back to Anthony Richardson, and that's exactly what I expect to happen. And I don't know how much we're going to find out today. I do expect a hearty and going after it type of practice, if indeed guys are going to be able to participate because they are dinged up. But we'll talk about that over the course of the afternoon. They're going to get started out here coming up, about 4:30 or so, I think. And I think actually 4 o'clock. I take that back. 4 o'clock until around 5:30, I believe that it is. And then Mooney's going to stop over here coming up at 5:45. So we'll hit that up. Coming up a little bit to around the NFL. If you've watched any of the preseason games, it's kind of the same all the way around. Shedeur Sanders looked good in his debut for the Browns. There's no question about that over the weekend. We got all that and more sports-wise. But I do want to give some love right here because he just walked up. And he is a part of Colts camp today with us, our friend Darren Andrews of WeGrowHairIndy.com. I want to give him a tremendous shout because he was also a part of what was just a fantastic golf outing at Legends down in Franklin on Thursday. My brother, thank you very much for what you brought to the table. It was outstanding day on Thursday. And you continue to just revolutionize the deal here, man. You do.
Well, thank you.
And I'm trying to catch up with you right there because you're the only dude out here who's going to wear a button-down shirt like that. Look good in it. Let me tell you.
Well, thank you. Twice in a week, huh?
Twice in a week. There's no doubt about that. So, yeah, you're out here hanging out today for Colts camp. Normally you come out here a day or two, I know, during Colts camp here at Westfield.
Yep.
Like to walk around, take things in. And, it's interesting, too. You see a lot of people I'm sure you've dealt with, like me, out here.
Some people, of course, very private.
Yes.
Some less private like yourself.
I'm not going to bring anybody up. I bring up myself because I'm sure as hell proud of it.
Yeah, well, Mr. Barry Krause we can talk about, of course, and Rick DeMulling. So, those guys we helped with hair transplants. Of course, you and I both had hair transplants.
We did.
It's not all we do. We do.
I'm just not on a stinking billboard anymore. Where are my billboards?
Well, I'm lobbying for you, but it's not all my decision these days. But you'll be back.
Really? Whose decision is it?
Well, Leah over there.
Hey, Leah. Leah, why am I not on? I drive by billboards and I go, man, I look really good right there.
Especially now. I mean,
yeah, I look really good. Yeah, you can't go with the old picture though, Leah. You got to go with the
slimline version.
The new picture. There's no doubt about that. How are things going with you? And by the way, how was the golf outing?
It was wonderful.
Yeah,
wonderful. It's just a pleasure to be a part of it. It's a great cause, and we do it every year, and it was a great day. I know the team had a lot of fun, and it was a great day. It was a great turnout, fantastic turnout.
It was, and it was a hot day, kind of just a little bit like this as well. Maybe a little bit less wind.
Yes,
but and you just can't go wrong at Legends.
No,
Ted Bishop, down in Franklin, just does such a tremendous job with it. It really was.
I come here and it makes me think of a question I get all the time about wearing hats and helmets and hair loss.
Yeah.
And that's a myth, of course. To clear that one up right away. Helmets and hats don't cause hair loss.
See, people always wondered when you wear the helmets if it didn't rub the top. They don't like helmets and stuff that rub the top don't cause.
No, I mean if you have a hair transplant, right, there's a little bit of a recovery period for the first 10 days or so.
Yeah.
So,
I think I seem to remember that.
Yeah. So
and when you told me not to play basketball, and I think I did.
Yeah. Well,
because I don't listen to anybody.
No, that's fair enough. I saw that. I saw that one coming. I saw that coming. Let's be fair about that.
People let you in. I don't think this dumbass listens to anybody. So yeah.
But you're not the first man to be like that. Yeah, believe it or not.
I thought it was revolutionizing that trade.
No, you're definitely not the first guy to do that. So no, look, there is that recovery period. So it's interesting. We see athletes at different times of the year. You see the football players and the basketballers at different times of the end of season when they've got that little window. So if you can have 10 days or a couple of weeks, you're in pretty good shape for that healing process. And once those little tiny crusts or scabs come off after that first week or so, you're really in the clear.
Yeah,
so.
I just can't have guys throwing errant passes near my dome. That's just what happens sometimes. I mean, come on, man. Let me turn my head around. I got to keep my head on a swivel a little bit with these dudes as well. How's everything going?
It's going great. It's going great. Yeah, it's hard to believe that we're partway through the year. Of course, with what we do, particularly on the medical hair transplant side of things, time goes fast because you're always looking at schedules.
Yeah.
You're scheduling ahead, as you well know. So, that global approach we take, preventative hair loss, early stage things we talk about all the time. It's kind of changed the face of our industry a lot with medically proven solutions with plasma treatments and growth factor treatments and low-level laser light.
Yep.
Things that you can do to get to hair loss early, to control hair loss. And some of us, again, as we talk about, we have to take a global approach. Sometimes you've got to transplant to put permanent, natural growing hair back and keep the hair that's already up there, so you combine modalities sometimes.
Right. It's Darren Andrews, and again, he was such a significant part of our golf outing, which was such a huge success. Going back to Thursday down in Franklin, a Legends joined us live. I mentioned he always does a couple of trips around when we're here out of camp. Look at Rick Venturi. Hey, are you going to join me a little bit later, brother? Sure. Oh, I think you should. I think you gotta. Darren Andrews joins us. Yeah, Rick Venturi is going to be a lot more on this show with us, and really, everybody loves that. So that is a good thing. Hey, tell people, the one thing that people ask me about all the time, Darren, while we're on the subject here, is the whole regrowing your hair and if there's any complications if somebody is like me trying to go through the whole weight loss process.
Yeah, so, when you shock the body or something happens very quickly, like rapid weight loss, you release a lot of toxins into the bloodstream, and hair follicles can be shocked, right? So you can go into what's called telogen, where you have a rapid amount of hair loss as a result of the rapid weight loss. So we see a lot of people now where we're putting plans in place where they come and say, look, I want to lose some weight, I'm going to go through these steps, and we have preventative things where you can run some defense, one of a better term, and get ahead of it so that you're not creating another problem when you have that rapid weight loss. So we have a really specialist part of our business now that we really focus on that.
That's good, too. Well, you and I have that conversation.
Yes.
But I mean, here's the thing, guys, and I say this all the time, and people think I'm joking about it. I'm not. I told you from the gate that my plan is to have all new parts by the time I'm 60.
Yep.
So that's the plan right here. Yeah. So, and I'm well.
You're well on the way.
I'm well on the way of having all new parts. There's James Boyd. We played a little hoop yesterday. Southport High School right there, Darren Andrews, James Boyd and I. But no, all new parts by the time that I'm 60, and that this certainly, our relationship, you being a part of our station, our group of stations too, man, I know that it's a very special thing in our building, Darren, and I cannot thank you enough for all your trust. To tell everybody how they can get involved, maybe if you're on the fence, maybe if you're kind of new to the entire process, how they can get involved.
Well, firstly, the website, wegrowindy.com, of course, lots of videos, information, your VIP page, your journey, colleagues of yours as well, of course, but there's a lot of information on there, so go there, start that educational process. The consultation, virtually or in person, call 317-522-2995. We can set that up. We're at the Pyramid Buildings right off of 465 in Michigan Road. So local, been doing it for 20 years now. A lot of us have been through hair restoration, as you know, so very passionate about what we do. We love it.
Yeah, well,
love it.
I mean, you have been a voice, you have been a friend and a partner, and we cannot thank you enough, and especially for being a part of the golf outing on Thursday.
Likewise.
I know everybody there is absolutely incredible. And, I mean, seriously, I can't imagine what I'd look like right now. So, the classic horseshoe design. And I try to explain to people, it's not like what Costanza tried to do with his. You know what I mean? Just try to stick that thing on there.
A lot of people aren't sure, right? But you're relocating genetically permanent hair from the back. It maintains its permanency. You move it to the top with the transplant.
Yep.
Away it goes.
It's Darren Andrews, WeGrowHeritage.com, 317-522-2995.
Yep.
My brother, thank you very much.
You
can hang out for a while if you want. We're going to be sitting right here. Rick, what time do you want to join me a little bit later? Right now? Yeah. Well, okay. Can we get it? You want to do it? I mean, when you finish. Oh, can I take a – oh, okay. Do you have plenty of time here? I got to get Rick Venturi in long form on here coming up in a minute. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, James. Let's take a break, and we'll come back. I know that Stephen Holder's going to come on at 3:30. I'm going to try to get as many people as I can on because I know then these guys are all going to be concentrating on practice when we kind of stand down just a little bit, James. So we'll do that timing-wise here. Out at Grant Park in Westfield, it is an afternoon practice. And again, coming up on Thursday, a joint practice with the Packers. And that leads us to preseason game number 2 with the Packers coming up on Saturday afternoon. Colts pregame huddle, I'll be a part of that. So we'll explain that coming up a little bit later on as well. Alex Palou, arguably, if there even is an argument, the best season in IndyCar history. Just an incredible ride for him. Will Power wins in Portland yesterday, but once Pato O'Ward had a smoking issue, it was all over beforehand anyway, but was it really all over after that? And Alex Palou, an incredible season. Will Power, by the way, wins the race, and we'll see where he's going to be coming up next year, too. Logically, not with Team Penske. But Alex Palou, your IndyCar champion, with 2 races remaining at Milwaukee and in Nashville. A little MLB, we can work that in as well. And we've got a lot of guests. I mentioned Alexa Ross at 59 is going to join us a little bit later on. I'm going to see if Case has time to pop on here a little bit later. Rick Venturi, Stephen Holder, John Nolan, who is the voice of the Fever. They get back on the winning track on Saturday, as I mentioned. And a lot from you at 239-1070. What the heck? I will not neglect you today. 239-1070 if you want to jump on board. I know that the hard target conversation is about the quarterbacks, and we can stick to that. But there are other layers to this team as we get into preseason game number 2 on Saturday that we should mention. And I know a lot of you want me to talk about the brand-new Colts pretzel. I don't know if we're going to work that one in today or not, but it did make me laugh a great deal. So a shout-out to you for making me laugh regarding the horseshoe pretzel. 2 thumbs up for me if you're watching via the AAA Membership Lounge. The stream, the app, it's HD Radio, and you can find us at Grand Park in Westfield today. 239-1070 is that number. A lot of guests, a lot of conversation with me and you as well. Don't go anywhere. It's 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Look at all those ding-dongs.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
I forgot. I didn't know any.
Hey, welcome back. Westfield, Grand Park. Casey and Matt are like quizzing me right here. I'm going, yeah, I think so. I think I'm committed to stuff I don't know if I can actually do, which is very familiar. Rick Venturi is here with us right now at Grand Park in Westfield. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Johnny, I'm doing good.
I think I'm committing to a lot of things right now, but I'm not quite sure what I'm committing to.
No, I'm doing real good. I can't believe that we're looking at the end of training camp. I mean, Thursday night is the last practice. I know people won't believe this and probably don't want to hear it from some dinosaur, but there were days when I first started in the NFL that we had 6 weeks, six full weeks, and those were 2-a-day practices every day. You were just, by the end of it, you were a zombie. I mean, this is wonderful. It's almost like a country club to me.
Well, they used to treat those 6 preseason games like they were regular season games.
Absolutely, and then I never went the 6. When I came in '82, which seems like a long time, but we had gone to 4.
Yeah.
We had gone to 4, and we at least – what we did is we played our regulars the first quarter, the first half of the second game, and then you played the half plus half the third quarter, and then you'd very seldom play them in the fourth game. But, and that's a little pet peeve of mine. I don't understand it. Particularly from a defensive standpoint, okay, I don't understand why you don't play guys in a game. Okay,
right.
Even John, if it's for a quarter, like last Thursday, I would just play a quarter because that's the only time you tackle. You don't tackle in practice, even as good as
this team has been problematic for years.
Oh no, there's unquestionably,
and they are the worst. We're not making a lot of that. It's true.
Yeah, you can look that one up.
Exactly.
You can Google that one up. We're the worst tackling team last year in the league, and by a long shot. And so to me, I could get into a bunch of nuances what I think makes good tackling teams. But one of them is repetition.
There's no doubt.
If you're going to shoot a jump shot, you practice a jump shot. And I just think even if you put your starters in there for a few plays, just to get tackling, live tackling, practice tackling, or, sometime in practice have old-fashioned tackling drills where they're one-on-one and they're not bodies. I just don't understand how you can expect to be a good tackling team if you don't tackle.
And then that equates to, especially at the start of the season, this losing trend this organization has gone through for so many years.
Yeah, I would definitely have analyzed that. 213 is your last win. I mean, your percentages in week 1 and 2 are awful. And there's another thing involved here too. Coaches so overreact today. I think they're afraid of the media, to tell you the truth. You go through a hard practice on Thursday and you can't come back on Saturday. I was like, it just blows my mind. And here's what I see. The trend today is when you protect all these guys in August, just look at the amount of injuries in September. They're unbelievable. It's an unbelievable spike in September injuries.
More than training camp, right?
It's the whole thing.
And then when you balance it out, how many times do you balance out? Well, we did sidestep injuries in August, but we really sucked in the first 2 months of the season.
Yeah, plus football's terrible.
Correct. Exactly.
September, it's but if you look at the spike in injuries in September, because just think about it, common sense. You don't even have to be a nuanced football guy. Okay, you go out, you play 15, 20 plays in a preseason game, maybe 20, and then all of a sudden in the regular season you open up maybe in the heat of the day and you have 75.
Yeah,
I mean,
correct.
You're going to get push-off injuries. You're going to get torques, twists, much less just the contact. So, I'll argue that till the day is long on people,
That is Rick Venturi. He's got new multi-segments here on our pregame show, the Colts pregame huddle. We absolutely love that, and more appearances on this show is always great as he joins us at Westfield, Grand Park at Colts camp for their afternoon practice later on today. So where would you expect the quarterback competition to be right now, Rick?
Well, obviously the injury to Anthony Thursday night put a little bit of a chink in the armor because – I think up until that point, I think Shane was doing about as good a job as you could do to give them equal reps. I mean, he cut it down. He cut it down the line almost perfectly, and there wasn't. How can I put it? there wasn't a substantial difference. Okay, there wasn't like a huge difference. And in that case, I think if you would have gone all the way to the end that way, and they're pretty much equal, then the choice would probably be Richardson, because if they're pretty much equal, you want to go with maybe his playmaking potential. But, then you see something the other night. You see a bad day Saturday in practice. Last Thursday night under the lights, he was terrific. And then Saturday, he was equally as bad, and that scared me. And then the other night, being totally oblivious to the blitz, that scares me.
Yeah.
And I like Danny a lot better than most people do.
Was that being oblivious or nonchalant?
I don't think he got it. And whether or not he was trained well enough to get it, or he can't get it. First of all,
those are all bad signs.
First of all, there's a third thing. There's a nuance thing. But it's actually a very difficult thing. They went 5 out. Okay, 5 out. Why you're going 5 out against Baltimore, who's been blitzing for centuries, okay? Centuries, okay?
No matter what personnel.
No matter who you're playing about. So now when you go 5 out and you turn the protection one way, then you've got a hot to the right, but you've got a primary to the left. So you've got to be able to glance over here while you're going back and then come over here. Now what happened to Anthony, I studied it in detail. They gave him a weak side roll, so they rolled right into where the hot is. And when he saw that weak side roll, I know his immediate focus was, I'm going to throw to the slot, which was Gould. I'm going to throw over here. Yeah. So he didn't focus over here at all. And when 2 guys came off that side, one of them was unblocked. He only had one blocker. And so, he missed that total. Now, to me, I don't know if they maybe ask him a little bit more than he could do, which is coaching. That's a coaching flaw. Number 2, can he get it? I mean, that's something that you do have to get. So that's a little troublesome and worrisome. But I like Danny Jones a lot better than everybody else does. I mean, if he's the quarterback, I ain't going to be mad. Everybody keeps saying, well, and I've said it, well, he's not going to wow you. But, if you got a good enough team around you, you don't necessarily have to wow every day. You got to do good things. You got to, and he's still, even in his bad days with the Giants, he's a 64 to 67% passer. His 22 season, he earned the money. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, particularly with him starting this week, we'll see how that goes. I don't know how they want it to go. But like I said, I'm just saying to you, and we'll talk about it the Monday night. We'll have our big show.
The big one.
Monday night before Cincinnati. I mean, not before Cincinnati, before Miami. I'm not going to be mad if Danny Jones is the quarterback.
I want you to hang with us right here. I know Stephen Holder's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline listening to what we have to say right here. Stephen, I'd ask Rick Venturi, who's with me here at Grand Park in Westfield right now, what he thought about the quarterback competition to date. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, pretty similar. I think I do think, I want to say, I agree that Shane did a good job, because I was not convinced they were going to be able to really walk that line of giving both guys adequate opportunity. And they did do that until the first quarter on Thursday night. So I think that was important. And I think in doing that, you gave them both great opportunities to create separation. We didn't see that separation. So what the injury does, and I think Coach kind of hit on this, what the injury does is it just puts that little seed in your head, like, oh yeah, he gets hurt a lot. And I don't think this is a big deal. It's not a big deal, right? He's fine. He practiced the next practice. He missed nothing. But it is part of the reason that Daniel Jones is here. It's because of the injuries. In fact, I would argue without his injury history, Daniel Jones is not here, regardless of Anthony Richardson's performance. So that's something we can't ignore. But I do think that it's very even for the most part. I agree that the playmaking tilts it for me a little bit, and I think the incumbency of Anthony Richardson has to matter, unless Carly Ursay and Chris Ballard are just talking for their health, right? They both made it clear they want to see what he can do, that he has time, well, you have to play him to see what you have and at least give him that last chance. So I would start Richardson unless something changes dramatically. If I were the coach, I'd start Richardson, let him play, let him pass, fail, get benched, get hurt, whatever, and let it be what it will be, and then you go from there.
Yeah, I don't see it quite that way. I mean, we have seen a lot, and I think this is, we can spin it that it isn't a big year. This is a huge year.
It is.
This is a huge year.
Yeah.
This is a huge year
for
the Holy Trinity, the general manager, the coach, but most importantly, and there's one thing, and Bill Belichick taught me this. There's only one thing that matters, and that's beating Miami. Nothing else. Nothing else matters. And the best guy that you can put in there to beat Miami, that's who you put in there.
Right. Do you think? And I'm gonna, Stephen. This is coming back to you. You mentioned just being the guy already. And my philosophy had been, fellas, that was going to be him unless there was just such an incredibly noticeable gap that even dorks like me could see, and that's when it's Daniel Jones. I don't happen to think if it's close that Close is going to go to Daniel Jones in this case. Rick, you can answer this first, and then Steven, you can go off on him.
The only thing that you guys aren't factoring in that I factor in with coaching experience is that was a frightening misfire by your starting quarterback to not even be aware of what happened. Okay, that if you're not worried about that, you know, and I think he's been accurate, but I still don't see pinpoint accuracy. I don't necessarily see that, and you know, I hope I'm wrong because he has tools. You know, we keep talking about that. He has tools to make big and explosive plays. You know, but at the end of the day, it was 47% completion last year.
Steven, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's correct. I think in terms of the pinpoint accuracy, I agree. He's been much better than he has been in the past. I've seen a better technician. I've seen a better passer of the football. But it is true. I mean, he's probably never going to be a pinpoint accurate quarterback. That's just not who he is. So the question is, can you live with that? The other thing at play here, and this is specifically to Shane Steichen. Shane is a detail guy, and I'm sure the sack bothered him. I know that the little things that we maybe don't make a big deal about in practice, they bother him. Shane is about details, and particularly with his quarterback making the routine plays, I know that's a big deal for him. So he doesn't give Anthony a pass on that stuff, and I think those are the things that can make this closer than we might think, you know, or maybe tilt it one way or the other, at least in the coach's head. But I would also say, I think there are other people involved in this decision, so I'm curious to see what, if any, impact that has. What is the conversation from ownership? What is the conversation from the general manager? They have different priorities, right? So I'm very curious to see whether any of that matters at all. We just can't know that right now.
And this kind of plays, and I hope I'm completely wrong. And Rick, you can answer this, or we'll go back to Steven. I just have thought all along this quarterback competition wasn't really going to end up as the final decision being a quarterback competition. I said that
from day one.
I mean, I just don't think it is.
You're gonna always be close, you know, and you're not gonna have. And unless somebody just laid an egg,
you're not going to have enough time.
You're not going to have an objective set standard that you say, well, this is the guy. So you're going to have to go what you value as the best guy against Miami. Now, I also think, and right now I'm concerned because we started out here 2 weeks ago with what looked like the best secondary here in decades, and all of a sudden it's shaky, and it's shaky, and it will hurt because of what Lou wants to bring here. But I think if we can somehow get that ready for the opener, maybe Jones comes back by the opener. I actually, looking at the weapons, adding Mitchell in here, I think this is a good enough team now that they can play with a quarterback who doesn't screw it up.
Steven.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an argument for that. I think it's frankly they're not going to get elite quarterback play from probably either guy, and part of me thinks that you're going to end up in a similar place no matter who the quarterback is, as long as the turnovers aren't out of control. Here's what I mean: if Anthony Richardson plays, I think he will elevate you at times, and then he will hurt you at other times. If Daniel Jones plays, he will be steadier, but maybe not lift you. And so I just think the net outcome might be similar. I think you have two kinds of teams in the NFL. You have teams whose quarterbacks elevate them and make the team better and take the team from good to great. And then you have quarterbacks who are just kind of along for the ride and maybe hurt sometimes, help sometimes, or are just kind of like steady Eddie and don't screw it up, as Coach said. I think either of those two guys get you to the same place. The guys that really make a difference are the guys in that first category, and I don't think the Colts have one is the problem.
It's Stephen Holder of ESPN and ESPN.com. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I know you got to get in here, Stephen. Go ahead and get in here. We'll see you out here covering this late afternoon practice, man. Thanks for hopping on early.
All right, you got it.
Stephen Holder on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Rick Venturi back with us right here. Now, you got to go across the field. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
The point you made about the secondary is a good one, by the way, too.
No. Listen,
yes.
I mean, when I heard Kenny yesterday, when I saw him go out, and when we brought in Ward, and we brought in Bynum, and Cross played really good last year, and Kenny's an outstanding nickel, and Wally was just playing his tail off as the fifth defensive back. And, we were up pressing, doing all the things that Lou wants to change in this defense, but if you start going down corners, it limits how much you can do. And that's so important for this defense. This defense was 29th a year ago. Okay, this is the reality.
Yeah.
And for us to be good, it's going to be really important for Lou to get this thing up around 15. I'm not asking him to go to the top 5. If he does, that would be real good. But if he can just get it from 29th up into about 15th, if we can get the QBRs, the reality of our two quarterbacks, one of them is 27th, one of them is 28th in QBR. So if you can get one of them up to 15, and then we are a -4 turnover ratio. These are three numbers to keep in mind. This is what I'm watching every day out here. If you can get that turnover ratio instead of -4 up to a +6 like it was a couple years ago, all right, then you go into top 10, and if you improve those three things to those levels, you can win the South.
You believe in what Anarumo's doing?
Oh, God, yeah. I just want him to have the tools that we look like we had 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I agree.
The injury to Wally was devastating. One thing I'll say about Jones, I had this conversation with Chris the other day. One thing I know about Jones is that he will fight you to the death for 60 minutes, and the more you use press technique with him, the better he'll be, where he can use that length. It's kind of like basketball, pressing you. If you make him sit back and wait like we've done a lot, that takes his tools away from him.
Somebody had mentioned to me, and I was going to ask you this, making a comparison with Jones to Gardner Minshew and how he played. Is there a comparison to be made in your opinion?
Yeah, I think there probably is. Gardner's a little bit more – here's how I would say that. Gardner's a little bit more of a gunslinger. Gardner brings a charisma to the game. There's a kind of a freaky charisma that he brings, and he's a little bit more of a gunslinger. Danny's more of a steady. He's not charismatic, but that doesn't win you games. What wins you games is decision making and accuracy. And if you go back, if you just take 22, the season of 22 in isolation, he threw 67%. He was 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He ran 7 touchdowns. He led them to a 9-6-1, okay? So there is a level of success there that we could find. They are similar. And, Minshew played great here, in my opinion. I don't know how we ever let him out the door, to be honest with you. But, I guess it was a few dollars more. But, we paid Danny. Everybody thinks, well, it isn't a competition. They didn't pay him that kind of money.
Oh yeah, well, and I'm the one you're talking to him right here.
To come in.
I thought the competition was more window dressing than anything else. That's me.
I don't. I mean, I
can't look at $14 million for a quarterback as nothing, especially if you don't have one.
I think that AR5, who was the franchise hope and the face of the franchise, got tarnished a little bit last year. And in their eyes, if you notice, in the offseason, they didn't say a thing. Now, all of a sudden, there's a move to restore confidence and to get him back going. But I guarantee you they didn't pay that money to Daniel Jones to not come in here and be competitive. Plus, with Richardson, because of his style, you need a good back. You need a good guy that's ready to play.
I know you got to get across the field. Thank you, my brother.
All right.
I appreciate that more than you know.
Talk to you soon.
A lot more this season,
and
too.
I love those pre-games.
Oh, my God.
We'll be on there. We'll be on there Saturday. I am doing the TV game Saturday, but we'll still do all our pre-game. I love the pre-game.
I love it, too. Thanks, Rick.
All right.
Rick Venturi right there. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Grand Park in Westfield. Afternoon practice for the Colts here on a Monday. Don't go anywhere. It's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
A ride with JMV.
It takes him a second to get on the stool because he's under 5 feet tall.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All right, Mooney's on the show coming up a little bit later on. Alexa Ross of 59 is going to join us, too. I think Valier is going to stop by. Hell, I don't know who else is going to be here. We'll do it, though. 6 o'clock, we roll. Hey, James, I didn't ask you. Do we have anything to give away today?
We do not, no.
What? Yeah, we gave away like 19 different things last week.
Yeah, I know.
No Chevelle. No, I just heard the Chevelle promo right there. What the hell? Yacht Rock Reviews coming up on Saturday night at Everwise Amphitheater. Got a ton of shows coming up at Ruoff just up the road. Rod Stewart, A Cheap Trick on Saturday night. Aldine, all you country music fans were out there this past Friday. Hey, I should also remind you now of this. James, and help me out. I don't want to make sure I don't mess this up. So is it 317-239-1070 where they can send me texts right here? Is that true?
That is correct.
So it'll come to you right now because I have not signed up for it yet, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right, let's see how many people send James a text. Like, just say something mean about me. And I know you're just joking, unless you're not. Say something mean, 317-239-1070 about me to James because I have yet to sign up for this text thread. 239-1070, area code 317. Fire that up right here and get it back to James and see what we have. I want to see what you have to say and make sure that you guys are staying involved. We'll be back here, by the way, coming up on Thursday with that joint practice with the Packers. Downtown on the Colts pregame huddle coming up on Saturday prior to the start of preseason game 2 with Green Bay still in town. But an afternoon practice, Grand Park in Westfield. We'll come back. I mentioned Alexa's going to join us in about 15 minutes. John Nolan, the voice of the Fever, coming up as well. Don't go anywhere. It's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
.35 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, listen, I don't know what happened. We got the secondary table out here. Dev, next time, man, beat the hell out of Valier because I don't want to sit at this table anymore. Hey, Case, come here. You gave us this table. Now the sun's going to be all over my ass in a minute here. It's a good thing I'm bronzing well. I'd be all pissy. I know. I'm going to be sitting on top of your table. It's weird because last time I was here, I was right there. And then you guys were back here. Hey, Casey Valier, everybody. Who's going to join us a little bit later on. Hey, do we have somebody with disparaging remarks about the host of this show so far at 317-239-1070 with a text message, James?
We have a lot of messages that have just come in.
All right. Give me some of the you can filter them if you want. If not, that's cool. What do you got?
Well, there's a lot that I do need to filter. A lot of JMV sucks. I'm seeing a lot of JMV sucks. JMV.
Did somebody reference my genitalia in a text message?
Somebody did. Rob says, JMV, you're too damn skinny. Your curves are missed.
All right. Well, go ahead and sift through those. That is our new text process, 317-239-1070. Billy Brooks is on hand right here, the former wide receiver. Alexa's going to join us in a second on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. He is the voice of the Fever, who may have to be out there right now trying to find some able bodies to play point guard, considering the circumstances. John Nolan joins us. I know the Fever did address that, but, Pickens probably are becoming a little bit slim, are they not, as far as the injury concerns or the hardship stuff's going on?
Yeah, I'm not sure if maybe Kelly Crosskoff, Lynn Dunn were scouting your Sunday morning hoops game, see if you had any female hoopers there who are worthy of a 7-day hardship contract.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you what, there's some good players at CG for real right there. So you can, I will say this, and this is not in jest. This is like time critical for this group right now. I mean, it really is. I don't know how much more you can withstand, John.
Right, yeah. So to recap for anyone who had missed it at the end of last week, Thursday night in Phoenix, lost both Sidney Colston and Ari McDonald to season-ending injuries. They were handling the point guard bulk with Caitlin still out of the lineup. So how to play on Saturday night against Chicago with only 9 available players and literally none of those 9 a traditional point guard. It was a phenomenal job by Sophie Cunningham and Kelsey Mitchell to really step up, handle the ball, and not only win on Saturday night, but it was actually one of the more convincing victories of the season, beat the Sky by more than 20 points. And it was a stipulation with league roster rules that they couldn't sign anyone until after the game. So then, sure enough, yesterday they did sign Odyssey Sims, who spent more than a decade in the W. She's previously been an all-star going back, again, a little more than a decade ago. She was a national champ at Baylor. So she's been around the block in the league, so she brings in a veteran presence. Perhaps some similarities to an Ari McDonald in terms of her overall speed and quickness and having a pretty defensive-oriented mentality. I think we just heard from Coach Steph White a little earlier this afternoon following the team's practice, and she highlighted one of the things that was appealing about signing Odyssey is that over the years, Odyssey has been especially good in the pick-and-roll situation. So maybe that's one thing that they definitely have missed without Caitlin being on the court and the dynamic play that she has with Aaliyah Boston, perhaps not to the same level, but here on the fly looking for something like that out of Odyssey Sims now.
Hey, John, I saw how Sidney Colston was injured. That was obvious. I didn't see Ari McDonald, her situation. What happened there?
Yeah, well, Sid was an obvious left knee injury. For Ari, it was a right foot injury. And actually, I know some fans on social media have cut the clip up and posted it. I mean, talk about a warrior mentality. It wasn't the most obvious in on a play early fourth quarter Thursday night in Phoenix, but if you're looking for it when you watch the video, you can see. I mean, it's kind of a weird situation where Ari took a wrong step or whatnot, and all of a sudden you can see her grimace in pain, and yet she finished out both an offensive and a defensive possession, actually came up with a steal and drew a foul. While it's a gut punch situation, everyone can be really proud of what Ari contributed to the team, Sid, for that matter, too, over the course of the year. And now, to some degree, it's a bit of a rallying cry. We've heard players and coaches talk about how now, they want to, go on and continue to not only get into the playoffs, but advance in the playoffs and do it for their teammates who are going to be on the sidelines now.
That is John Nolan joining us. He's on the Eddie Moore Automotive Group hotline. Next up, you're going to hear him coming up tomorrow. Eddie Garrison, what time do you guys tip off tomorrow? I don't have the schedule in front of me, John.
Yeah, tomorrow night's a 7:30 game, and so our
Okay.
pregame coverage will start with Eddie at 7:15. Tomorrow's an ESPN game, but we've got the local coverage here.
That is well done right there. And it is Dallas at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Actually, back-to-back games at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Obviously, I thought Chicago came at a good time, did it not? I mean, it's weird the dynamic. A year ago, it was that big kind of, Celtics versus Lakers rivalry of sorts brewing last year. And this year, Chicago's awful. I mean, absolutely awful. And it's almost like that you viewed them as something that was very timely, considering the circumstances for the Fever. Was it not on Saturday?
Yes, definitely. The Fever have done their part since last year and continuing to progress forward, but you're right, Chicago has arguably regressed, and they've been without Angel Reese, who had been playing better leading up to the All-Star game, but they have not been able to overcome her absence like the Fever have been able to really overcome missing Caitlin for extended parts of this season. And beyond just having Chicago Saturday, actually, this is the cushiest part of the schedule and really the last cushy part of the schedule. Dallas is a team down there with Chicago in the standings. They've dropped 5 in a row. Dallas has actually traded away a couple of their veteran pieces. There's been different types of turmoil with their team this year. So can't take them for granted because Paige Beckers is immediately one of the top players in the league. And so they're capable. They've beaten the New York Liberty this year, but you like your odds against Dallas at home. And then looking ahead, Friday we'll be hosting Washington. The Mystics are another team that has traded away talented veterans, essentially not really looking to make a run this year. And then jumping further ahead, Sunday on the road at Connecticut, they have the worst record in the W this season. That said, the Fever did drop one of their first games without Caitlin against Connecticut. So feels like a stretch here this week where you got to take care of business because looming after that, they still have 3 games left against the top team in the league in Minnesota.
Yeah, and I mentioned this, and John Nolan is the voice of the Fever on the Eddie Moore Automotive Group hotline. I felt there was a stretch, and this was prior to the LA Sparks game. I actually had to eat some words, which is not a rarity if you've listened to this show before, about the Sparks and then the Mercury. I had suggested that without Caitlin Clark and it was the dynamic that was going on, that I had felt the Fever looked much better defensively, and then against the Sparks and the Mercury, simply put, they did not. So I think that kind of squashed that. When you see this team better defensively, is it all a part of the equation just who they're playing? Are they better defensively against teams that aren't offensively that great? Is that just where this team is on that side of the ball right now?
One thing that the Fever have done a good job of for the most part throughout the year is defending the three-point line. And going into that game against LA last week, they were actually number 1 in the league in terms of allowing the fewest threes and also had the lowest three-point shooting percentage against. And I feel like to some degree there's a little bit of randomness to it. Like they had back-to-back games where their opponent only made 2 threes and frankly missed some open looks. Dallas was one of those teams. And then all of a sudden you play LA and they've got a stretch post, Azare Stevens, who goes 5 for 5 from 3. The reality is they're probably somewhere in between that, not giving up someone, career night and also not seeing teams have, the worst performances of their season shooting. But they do make a habit of really trying to pressure on the perimeter and take away those open three-point looks. I think what you saw towards the end of that road trip was just fatigue with the schedule catching up to them, where they had a stretch of 6 games in 11 days in 5 different cities, 3 different time zones, So I think, as you know from playing, when you get tired, it's tougher to close out on those shooters. And all of a sudden, things snowballed for them in those 2 games.
So John Nolan, he's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, talking a little hoop right here. I know you mentioned Stephanie White, I think, talked a little bit earlier today. We have any thought about the return of Caitlin Clark? I know nobody out there right now is holding their breath, but holy crap, is that necessary?
Yes, certainly. And so she was asked for an update on Caitlin, and it's, kind of just in sort of the mystery of her return. One of the things that we were told a few weeks ago once this right groin injury popped up was that they wanted to make sure she was going to have more than adequate time to ramp up, including being able to practice with the team before being thrust into game action. And so at this point, Caitlin has still not returned officially to practicing with the team. She's at practices. She's doing individual workouts. I guess the latest thing for her is that she is running full court, part of building up her endurance to be able to go in practices and then in games. But she has not returned to practicing with the team yet. And so we really have to wait until we hear that she's practicing with the team before you can start to think, oh, is she going to be a game time decision or anything like that?
Yeah, it seems a long way away still at this point, doesn't it, John?
Well, I mentioned the schedule coming up here this week. Following Sunday's game at Connecticut, it's the only time all year, not counting the All-Star break, where they'll be off next Monday through Thursday without a game. So you figure you get multiple practices in there. So fingers crossed if things continue to progress for her and she's able to sort of take the step-by-step ramp up. Maybe that following game a week from Friday, the 22nd against Minnesota. But, I mean, honestly, again, you don't want to rush it. You can't be affected by the injuries that have happened here. You got to treat it as its own isolated situation, for her best interest, for the team's best interest, for this year and, the long-term future.
Lexi Hall come out of the shell a little bit, going kind of through a bit of a funk. We see her fix that a little bit on Saturday evening.
Yeah, so Lexi, in summarizing for her, she really had a breakthrough season last year, wound up ranking second in the league in three-point shooting, and then picked up where she left off the first half this season. She, got Caitlin's spot for the WNBA's three-point shootout as part of the All-Star festivities at the Fieldhouse. And then sort of coming out of the All-Star break, coincidentally, she was definitely in a shooting slump, and she had actually gone 3 consecutive games without making a three. There was one game where she had started off there in Phoenix, both between 2s and 3s. She was 0 for 10 from the field, and yeah, definitely Saturday night was a nice comeback kind of game for her. She was perfect from 3. She made 4 threes, had a season high in scoring. And one thing to make sure to point out, though, with Alexi is that, to her credit, she's the type of player, even when she's going through a shooting slump, she's still arguably the best defensive player on the team, and is someone who's not sulking and putting the head down. She was still, performing at the same level defensively for this group and still being a great teammate. It was just one of those frustrating things where, she felt like she had the right process but wasn't getting the results of seeing the ball go through the net. Finally was able to see that happen and smile in that big win on Saturday. You don't go through those slumps, though, right?
No, well,
I don't think any of the disparaging texts were about your shooting.
Hey, James, did anybody make fun of me playing basketball in any of those texts?
Yes. Somebody said you couldn't make a layup with a 4-foot wide rim. Someone was insulting your jump shot, but I've lost the message, so I'm not sure where it went.
Man, I'm glad. I don't know if I'm ever going to sign up for this. No, I'm just joking. I'm the one that asked for it, so it's all good right there. Nah, John, it's true. There's no doubt about it. It is true. If you still play one of these days, much like James Boyd has witnessed, you shall have to join us and check it out for yourself.
Yeah, I'm down to lace it up and get to work.
Can Fort Wayne guys play?
Hey, I've been training with Max Landis, so
oh
I'm
yeah. I still look at him. He's from our crowd. We've had Max Landis, a professional for so many years, overseas in Portugal. Dylan Windler, clearly has spent time in the NBA. I think playing overseas now. Brooks Barnheiser in the NBA now with Oklahoma City. We're a pretty good proving ground to play professionally. I think our group on the South Side, really good proving ground.
Well, I'll spoil that part, but down to have a good time.
You got it, brother. I appreciate that, John. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Make sure you get some sunscreen on there. Don't burn, all right?
Oh, man, I look I'm tan and looking good right now, John. I'm lucky I've got this V-neck white T-shirt on the way that it is. John Nolan, voice of the Fever, tomorrow night. 7:30 tip time, 7:15, I think he mentioned, with Eddie Garrison. right here on The Fan with the pregame show. They are out practicing right now when we have people watching it. Somebody that's not paying an ounce of attention because she is joining this show at Grant Park in Westfield for this Colts afternoon practice. Alexa Ross, you think your bosses are happy to hear that? She's not paying an ounce of attention to what is going on because she is involved in this show.
You know what? They're not. They just split into position groups. I think we're fine.
Oh,
I think we're fine. I think we were stretching. We were warming up. I think
they're
we're probably fine.
Look at everybody watching. Now they're acting like in full detail that they're watching right there. How are you?
Joel A. Erickson walking by with his notepad. That's how you know it. We've officially started for the day.
The notepad. So how are you?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be back on the show, and happy it's not Chris Hagan, and I hope you got texts about him as well. And I encourage texts about Chris Hagan to come in because I would say all of this to his face if he were here.
317. Oh, see, this is going to hurt his feelings right here. He didn't talk to me for a month after somebody, this is years ago, posted a picture with his mouth open taking a bite of steak at Sullivan Steakhouse, and he didn't talk to me for a month over that. He was mad because I couldn't take it down. Yes.
That seems like a him problem.
So 317-239-1070 is the new text thread. Alexa Ross can say that she wants you to drop some things about Hagan in there.
Please do.
So drop things about Hagan in there, James. Let us know when there are substantial responses about Chris Hagan at Fox 59. What are you noticing out here right now?
Right here, we're backed right up to offensive linemen. So
we are.
This is not a group I've paid, admittedly, a ton of attention to this camp.
Because it's boring.
I'm not going to say that. My dad was an
I'm
offensive
going to say it
lineman.
low. I don't want anybody over there to hear me.
You can say that. That's
no,
fine.
I'm just joking.
I think that I've been really interested in any pass catcher that we've had out
Good
here.
idea.
And two of the three guys who have impressed me the most just through this camp and what they've been able to do are A.D. Mitchell and Tyler Warren. But I know that I'm not the first person to say that, and I'm sure I won't be the last.
Well, and part of it too, Alexa, is we've heard this story before about A.D. Mitchell. So hopefully it can finally be the truth. But until it translates to the regular season, you're going to have non-believers, and that's what you have right now.
Exactly, and there's no prizes for being great in camp besides making a roster.
Right.
And he was probably pretty comfortably there.
Yes.
He now has to take all of this and this consistency that he's been able to put forth and take it into the season, because otherwise, he's going to get the same reaction.
Yeah.
And we're going to have the same conversation of, oh, those were the 10 guys who were the 10 receivers drafted before me and all that fun stuff. So
mine's probably over there somewhere. I don't have mine. I don't really care. Well, I don't know. Just what name is on there right there? Huh? Can I see?
That man
really
that's a man named John.
Solomon Wilcots, Anthony Herron, or Tom Kress. I'm going to be Tom Kress. Can I be Tom Kress? No, it's not me.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I can't have it? Who's Tom Kress?
I don't know, but he works for Sirius.
Yeah,
you should take that.
Right
you should take
door?
that. You should take that credential.
My job's better than hell. I don't want to be on Sirius. My job's better than that. Tom Kress. Now I know I'm not Solomon Wilcots. I know because I just saw Solomon Wilcots out there. So I can't have one of those. All right then. I was going to take it. I'll be Tom Kress for an afternoon. I've not picked up my credential yet, so.
Clearly.
Yeah. They just say, hey, go ahead and go in.
She was really upset that she.
I know she was upset.
She was very upset and concerned.
She wanted me to Tom Kress. She wanted me to be Tom Kress, I think, for a moment right there.
She was really concerned that because we were live.
All right, so we got the offensive line in front of us right now. There is some work going on here, as you can tell, the background with Colts practice going on. Actually, the second to last, the joint practice with the Packers. We're going to be back coming up on Thursday afternoon here. Outside of the whole quarterback thing, you talked about the offense and the pass catchers. What else has stood out to you about this camp? Alexa?
I mean, Tyler Warren, you can't say enough good things about that kid. You really can't. And I think that anytime you have the conversation in the draft process of, oh, is it going to be one guy or this other guy? You have the Colston Loveland of it all, and you have the Tyler Warren of it all. I think Colts fans should be pleased, at least as of right now, with what was picked. There's a lot of consistency, and not only is there the consistency, but there's also the ability to both catch and block. When you have a guy who an entire college offense ran through last season, of course that's going to be the big draw for him, right? But he can still block. He can still set things up, which is going to be huge for this backfield, and especially with these mobile and mobile adjacent quarterbacks.
Well, yeah. You hope.
You hope.
Yeah. You really don't know what you see, and I mean, we were having that kind of debate a little bit earlier with Stephen Holder and Rick Venturi in hour number 1, and I've always been of the opinion of, okay, it's a quarterback competition, great, but I thought all along it was going to be a foregone conclusion that Richardson was going to get the start. And in part because you know that at some point he's going to come out anyway because he's going to be injured. You know, regardless being effective, ineffective, at some point he's just not going to have availability, and then you're going to see Jones. I just thought all along that was going to be a part of the equation, and Rick disagreed with it. Rick said, hey, you know, they brought him in for like $14 million. That's a lot of money to pay. But
Is that a lot of money to pay?
No, not for a quarterback. I didn't think so. I just thought, and that's why he's here, because he was available for that amount. He's trying to reclaim a starting spot here, and this was his best path to try to do it because you knew you were probably going to get a significant chance at some point to play here. So.
Well, it was bleak in New York.
Yeah.
There's nothing right. I can say more than it was bleak without there being a problem on this radio show because
right.
It's just it was a disaster.
It was.
A guy like Brian Daboll, you know, who did what he did in Buffalo to then get this head coaching position, to have it all fall apart around this guy who they overpaid too quickly. They overpaid for Daniel Jones too quickly. He had one great playoff game, and then they had to deal with it. And here we are now. And now Daniel Jones is.
But others will argue that maybe it was the parts that were, and I know you're a Philly girl, but
don't tell people
I'm
that.
not going to tell anybody
Everybody
that.
knows. It's fine.
But no, I think you could also argue that there was parts around. See, that's why I think it's different for these guys here, because I think you mentioned, you know, Tyler Warren and what you expect out of him as a rookie, as a weapon. I think their wide receivers are getting better. You have Jonathan Taylor, which clearly at that position is one of the best. Your offensive line, you know, left tackle, left guard, right tackle should be good. I'm just thinking there's a lot more here to work with than it felt like he ever had with the Giants.
For sure.
Across the board, even, you know, obviously with, you know, what they brought in with Malik Neighbors a year ago, who's incredibly talented. So
we'll see on Saturday. I mean, he's getting the first run with the ones, so that's a lot of questions hopefully should be answered. I don't know if Jonathan Taylor will play. Head coach Shane Steichen says there's possibility that he plays, but they have a plan, quote unquote, for the big name starter. So I don't know if we'll see him.
When are we going to see you?
Where are you going to see me? You're going to see me on CBS 4 and Fox 59 in approximately 40 minutes. 40
minutes on CBS 4 and Fox 59. That is Alexa Ross. James, we got any comments regarding Hagan? Come in at 317-239-1070.
I am not seeing any right now.
No.
Terrible.
No
Guys,
motivational
come on. I
comments
can't
for
text them
Hagan.
on the show.
Man. Do we have more about me? How many? Do we have a lot for me?
We have a lot about you.
Oh.
A lot of them I can't really say on air.
A lot we really can't say on air. That is, in essence, what this show is about. A lot that we can't say on air. Hey, Alexa, good to see you. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me, John.
Alexa Ross on the, I should say on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, but she is here live at Camp in Westfield. We're here at Grant Park. We'll come back. Got a lot more for you, including Mooney. Charvarius Ward, the free agent impact from the secondary, is going to join us toward the end of the show, too. Hey, don't go anywhere. We are live at Grant Park, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Ride with JMV.
This situation absolutely requires a really futile and stupid gesture be done on somebody's part.
We're just the guys to do it.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Damn right. I was just thinking that the JMV takeover music is 1,000 times better than this. James, you think if I ran down there and slid in an hour of the JMV takeover that they would be appreciative of that? Because I think they need that.
Live from Colts camp? That would be awesome.
It's not hyping up anybody right here.
Yeah, I think they could use your help.
Yeah. Sounds like we're rolling around. Sounds like I'm rolling around in Greene County back in 1987 and somebody's got a Kraco car stereo with a couple of subwoofers in the trunk right here. We're rattling the trunk. Yeah, I think that may – and listen, when you're not doing well coming out of camp and you're losing games and you're missing tackles and things, that's what we're – obviously, I'm in jest with that. But a lot of what I'm talking about right now is what Rick Venturi and I talked about a little bit earlier. When you do things in camp and you lead up to the end of camp and it takes you so long to get going. And I'm talking about things like turnovers, missed tackles, miscues, lack of execution, and then ultimately losing, which has been a forte of this group in the early season, especially in week number 1. You would think a change of pace, whatever that change of pace is, it doesn't really matter. I mean, hell, you could be playing Luke Bryan tunes out here if you want. You can play a little Bach out here. But whatever changes it up would be for the better. Because whatever has been going on around here, simply put, has not worked. We all know that. So that's my first thought in mind. In fact, the action is right across from me right now. Greg Racestraw asked me if I was going to do a little bit of play-by-play. I'm probably not going to do a little bit of play-by-play for you, but I will tell you right now that the offense working against the defense, actually with the offense deep in its own territory right now, as that is ongoing in front of us, and it is Daniel Jones at the helm right now, getting a little bit of work in. So we are observing that with practice, and these are the final 2 days. He's going deep right here. I sure as hell can't see what happened because the tent's in the way right here. But it looked like something good happened because now the offense is spreading down the field like something good just happened. So I'm sure that's going to be documented here on social media platform X in just a second for you all. But now it's out of my line of sight. I mentioned, too, this practice and then the joint practice with the Packers here at Grant Park in Westfield is basically all that there is going to be left. And then, after that, that's that. So a couple of times, well, I guess including this one if you want to jump out here right now, but coming up on Thursday, I think Thursday, I'd have to check. I heard that maybe that was sold out, but I don't know that for sure. And obviously that will be extremely popular with the Packers being a part of the joint practice. Anybody's going to be popular, but with the Packers, that will make it even more popular. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, too. We now have your opportunity with a text stream. Now, the only thing I know about this is I have yet to sign up for it. And I think it's something we have to sign up for, so it'll probably take me a month. But we have to sign up for it, and this is where you can text us immediately with whatever you want to say. Now, you know this to be true. I am a caller-intensive person here. Like, I want the communication at 239-1070. I want to yak at you like that. That's how we want it. But there is also a way, and I'm assuming, because I'm thinking the lounge is going to go away, but the AAA membership text is going to end up taking over. I don't mind either one, but certainly once I set up for the text, I'll probably see all of those. But you can do that now. Text us at 317-239-1070. As of now, you can see it through the eyeballs of James back at the studio, and he'll tell me exactly what is going on, if that makes sense to you. but it is a text thread that we will see if you text to 317-239-1070, and I will see it once I end up signing up for it. So that's what's going on right now, and I'm assuming we'll take that into being brought to you by AAA as well, and become a AAA member today. You know how important that is. If you've been out to Ruoff, if you went out on Saturday night for Cheap Trick and Rod Stewart or Jason Aldean this past Friday night, you know it to be true. Man, AAA is such a great way to get perks out there, and we all love perks, don't we? There's Anthony Richardson sliding to the left side and running out of bounds right there. We all love the perks, whether it's early entry into the lawn or whether you want to check out what's going on inside the Premier Lounge. It all works for you right there. It really does. Become a AAA member today, plus the fact that it can help you out on the road 24/7, 365. That is AAA. Become a AAA member. Do that today. BT writes this, remember when you said, yes, the Colts need the hype man? Exactly. Yeah, the Colts aren't doing too much to fire up the fans. I'm telling you, the hype man stuff works. I think everybody needs a hype man, but especially when you have struggled. Right? Everybody needs – we have some famous hype men out there. But when you struggle, you especially need that, BT. 100%. Tim writes this, JMV, people have to realize that just because a guy had results in one place doesn't mean he's going to bring these results with him. Curious, how many Pro Bowl offensive linemen was in front of Daniel Jones in New York? And Tim brings up what Rick Venturi was talking about. Rick Venturi is on board with Daniel Jones. Now, I'm on board with whoever's best for the situation. But what I haven't been on board with is a deeply rooted believer in this so-called quarterback competition. I think that it's going to be, and I've thought this all along, that it outside of something stratospheric happening, that it was going to be Anthony Richardson all along. Now, Rick brought up a good point a little bit earlier. There's not much of an opportunity for you to do that much, or if there is a huge gap between one guy and the other, for the other to make up that ground. There's not that much of an opportunity to do that because you just don't get the reps, and it's not like it used to be. And while I recognize that, I just think that it will have to be just an eye-popping difference, whether we're talking about what they're going through right now with this practice time, and then especially coming up on Thursday and on Saturday. If this truly is a quarterback competition, that's when I think this whole thing is going to matter most. Now, we'll double back to Thursday with the lack of the read, which everybody brings up right now, the lack of the read and taking the sack and the dislocated pinky for Anthony Richardson. Do I think that leaves a mark with Shane Steichen and the coaching staff? Absolutely. Because it seems to be always something. And at some point, it can no longer be about, because that's something Stephen Holder argued a little bit earlier on the other side. You know, you have to give him reps. You have to see. At what point do you just decide what we have seen is it? All right, that's it. This is just who this guy is. And I've said this all along. I came to that conclusion last year. This is who this person is. Well, wait a minute. He's been injured and he's had a battle through this. There is always something. And it just seems like in this age, this era, if you've been around any professional sports for such a long time, it is tough to be what, again, you've already established yourself to be. And you're going to say, well, wait a minute. People bring up Baker Mayfield all the time. Well, granted, while Baker Mayfield has been good, I'd like to think that maybe that there is something out there one of these days that's going to be better than Baker Mayfield. Like, I'm not like pinning my hopes and dreams on one of these guys end up being Baker Mayfield, because I think that there's going to be more to it than that. So I drew that conclusion a year ago. Yet I understood that this organization was still going to give him a substantial place to work and to show. And that's where my conclusion has been drawn. But Rick Venturi clearly has seen Daniel Jones and would trust Daniel Jones. Now, hey, the other side of this as well is you've got a head coach and especially a general manager. You've got a coaching staff that you got jobs on the line right here. So you really can't afford to say, well, if you trust one guy over the other, and especially if one guy has given you substantial reasons over the prior 2 years not to really invest a great deal of trust in him, and there's always something wrong, there's always something going on, then, ultimately, maybe to save your own ass, you better put the best product out there, the best man for the job out there. That was Rick's point a little bit earlier. If you missed any of that, the podcast, 1075thefan.com. We shall take a break. We will come back. Mooney Ward is going to join us. Charvarius Ward, the free agent pickup back in the spring by the Colts, a guy that played in Frisco, a guy that has been really good so far. Hey, the other point we talked about that we really haven't expressed too much or played off of too often so far is the dinged-up secondary and how problematic that could be. From what you had witnessed early in camp with Jalen Jones, what we know to be just the constant with Juju Brents, and then the whole Wally injury, which ended his season as of last week. What was you had depth, and what was a solid category, maybe not so much where it stands right now. But Mooney's going to join us coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. We are live out here at Colts Camp, Westfield, Grand Park, the first of 2 days this week. On Thursday, we'll be back for the joint gathering with the Packers and the Colts out here. But today, it is a straight-up practice, and Mooney joins us coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. Do not go anywhere. The stream, the app, HD Radio, and 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Drunk and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Oh, this was really good last week. I enjoyed it. Toto got on stage. Steve Lukather is still genius. Christopher Cross, Colin Hay of Men at Work got on stage on Wednesday night. Finale was this song at Ruoff Music Center. Phillies and Reds, 6-10 later on tonight. Redlegs, 5 games above 500. Phillies, 68 and 49. That's in Cincy coming up later on tonight. The Brewers at 73 and 44 get the Pirates at home. The flooding in and around Milwaukee, absolutely ridiculous. Rockies and Cardinals from St. Louis coming up at 7:45. That is later on tonight. I don't think the Cubs play coming up until tomorrow. They have the day off and get back at it coming up tomorrow. But interesting weekend by the Reds. Did start out well against the Pirates, but certainly ended much better. The Cubs north of the border coming up tomorrow night, an interleague series starting at 7:07. Again, that's tomorrow night. It is the Cubs matched up against the Toronto Blue Jays. We were talking to John Nolan, the voice of the Fever, a little bit earlier in the show. The podcast on that, 1075thefan.com. The 8-24 Dallas Wings. So that's one of those situations we had talked about. This team has been good against teams like that. I'll give you a great example. Like the Sparks haven't been good, and the Sparks have had ownership for whatever reason of the Fever. However, a team like the Wings, the Fever played much better against. 4 games above 500, 18 and 14, back on the winning track. And that matchup against Chicago this past Saturday night. Still not going to hold your breath for the return of Caitlin Clark, and you got a team that is really looking for anybody at the point guard position right now to keep them going. Because, Aaron McDonald, that situation, know about the situation with Sydney Colson. I will say this, Kelsey Mitchell had the normal offensive output that you would expect on Saturday and also distributed to the tune of 8 assists, and really that is what is necessary for this team. But you just kind of count the minutes until Caitlin Clark hopefully gets back. I know there are a lot of people wondering right now whether or not she's ever going to get back, which is problematic right there. Yeah, no question about that. Hey, JMV, it was great to see you at Sid's yesterday. We had a great weekend in celebrating 80 years at Sid's on the square in Noblesville. Did you mention you're coming back? I am coming back. That is on the 28th of August and a tavern tour stop. I will be back at Sid's for what will be a fantastic time. Again, Heaven Hill Distillery, me, Brent Halverson. That date is on the 28th. That is a Thursday. And, in fact, we were doing the math on this the other day. That is a tavern tour stop. And the reason why I bring this up, because the owner of Sid's, Brian, had mentioned this to me. They have a couple of Airbnb facilities above Sid's. And he said, hey, I know you're going to be up here a ton Labor Day weekend. Would you like to spend a night or two in one of these themed Airbnbs? One is like a railroad theme. I think there's a different theme up there. So that may be the case. I may end up staying on the square in Noblesville, maybe a night or two coming up that particular week, because it is, and I know that I've got a cabin already at Mystic Waters Campground, but it is going to be busy that weekend, and here's why. I'd mentioned this. Tavern tour stop on the 28th. That is on a Thursday at Sid's in Noblesville. And then we go Friday to Mystic Waters Campground. That is the start of our Labor Day weekend bender. So we'll be out there on that Friday at Mystic Waters Campground in Pendleton. And then back on Saturday night for the live JMV takeover at Mystic Waters Campground. So we go back-to-back at Mystic Waters. That is our Labor Day weekend bender. And then at Paradise Day Watson to close out what has been a fantastic summer of 2025 as we continue the Labor Day weekend bender there, which that's going to be outstanding. And you guys, I've got something that's going to be back. 2 years ago, you fell in love with it, and we just referenced it as the spreadability. But I've got more for you. The spreadability was not here a year ago. It will be back. Hey, Case, you want to join me coming up here at the top of the hour? And thanks for putting us in the sun right here. I'm just going to grill your ass for that, by the way, too. At least poor Dev over there, man. Black shirt and everything over there. Identifying with his rage in the sun, 105 degrees. Casey Valier is going to join us on the other side. But the spreadability returns after a one-year hiatus. I'll explain that. Casey Valier, Mooney, and more in the 5 o'clock hour. Colts Camp, Grand Park, Westfield. We're here with Anna McGinley, who finally found out who I was. Anna found out that I was JMV. I told her that I was Tim Kress of Sirius XM, but I didn't know who that was, and neither did she. JMV, according to Anna right here. Casey on the other side, don't go anywhere. Remember, 317-239-1070. That is the text stream. Send them right now to James because I've yet to sign up for it. And James will reference everything that you send on the air that he can, I guess, that doesn't have four-letter words that are bad, a part of it. That's coming up next. Don't go anywhere. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Danny, every day.
Good. So what's the problem?
I don't know.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Oh, Colin Hayham, men at work right there. Dev's the on-site engineer. James back at the studio. Last week, who can it be now? This week in Ruoff, by the way, I know it was a big weekend for you. You saw Rod Stewart and Cheap Trick. Those are two really good bands. I mean, I don't care what you say. I know Rod Stewart's incredibly old, and I bet everybody out there was incredibly old. But if you want 3 to 4 absolutely outstanding decades of music, that's what you go to see right there. And always remember this. You never know when the superstar of our era, and I mean our era, when you think about it, even if you're 10-plus years older than me, that was also your era, that era of Rod Stewart. You never know when that is going to end. As I always say, I went to see Gordon Lightfoot when he was 81 years old at the Brown County Music Center, and I'm glad I did because, unfortunately, he didn't make it much past a year later. So you never know when you're no longer going to be able to see him again. So if you went out to see Rod Stewart this past Saturday, well done. I know Jason Aldean. I know you all go out there. I know the smoking chicks get their little shorts and then put their boots up, and everybody, that's why the dudes go. They don't know a damn Jason Aldean song from nothing, but they go out there for that. Big time Rush tomorrow night. Suicide Boys, which, James, Suicide Boys is hip-hop? That true?
According to Wikipedia, that's correct.
All right. That's on Wednesday. Thursday, Nelly, Ja Rule, and Eve. Did you ever hear the story Ja Rule ditched me on the show once? On a different show, but ditched me.
I did not hear that story, no.
Yeah. So I made fun of him. I used to say, well, I missed out on the conversation because his voice is like this. Nelly, Ja Rule. What was the song he did with the chick? And it was actually good until he started singing it, and then it was bad.
Oh, you're asking
Sounds
the
like
wrong
somebody's
guy.
Garbage disposal. It sounds like somebody turned their garbage disposal on and started rapping. But nah, I'm sure he's much better now. Nelly, Ja Rule, and Eve on Thursday. Styx, Kevin Cronin, and Don Felder. So Kevin Cronin, the lead of REO Speedwagon, and Don Felder, of course, of Eagles, coming up on Friday. And then Saturday, it's a country music fest with Little Big Town, Wynota Judd, and Shelby Lynn. Sunday, Lil Wayne is out there. And this is next week, next Thursday, James, Volbeat, Hailstorm, and The Ghost Inside. You going to be at that? That's you.
I'm into a little bit heavier stuff than that.
A bunch of tatted-up, sweaty-ass dudes all hanging out together. That'd be you.
I will say I have seen Volbeat before live, and they do put on a pretty good show.
Tatted up, sweaty-ass dudes. Can't wait. Let me go. Let's go together.
That's my scene right there.
That is your scene. Joining us now, he completely screwed us over with this table setting right here. Because I told Dev when I walked up, I go, man, we're going to be in the sun at 4:30. Dev's over there sweltering hot right now. But the savvy Casey Valier from Colts Radio Network joins us now. You knew exactly what you were doing when you told us. The last time I was here, we were right there on that table.
I understand,
and you
John.
knew you guys were sitting right here, and you were going to have the sun. So you played my man Dev like a damn guitar over there.
I just answered the orders, and the orders were we are here, and the fan is here.
Who gives the orders?
You know, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but, Matt Taylor's the one.
My ass. Where's Matt Taylor? He's not here sitting in the sun.
He's out there. He's got to MC this whole thing.
Well, he's up there in the AC, right?
No, he's out in the sun. He's on the sidelines, and then he walks up to the steps and announces what the next thing of practice is.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he did that.
Oh, yeah, he's busy. Busy man.
Wow. So he's probably sweating it up. And
yeah, so he wants to come in here and get a little airflow and not be in the direct sun. So that's why.
What have I missed out there? I've had this window of view of about 20 yards here on this side of the field. That's it.
Yeah, so from where we're looking, they're essentially going away from you on every drill. But I think it's been a lot of team periods today, so a little bit more like I forget what terminology that Shane used, but a little bit more like scrimmage-based stuff, so situational and team periods.
Huh.
We saw, I think, our 4th interception of camp, which it's been a pretty clean as far as turnovers go, but Anthony Richardson did throw an interception that was picked up by Charvarius Ward.
Mooney.
So I
Mooney's
believe
gonna
you're going to get him Mooney
bit.
in a little bit, so he has another interception.
So
to his
should I
belt.
lead say, hey man, what are you trying to screw with the starting quarterback here?
Yeah, there you go.
Way,
Yeah.
way to blank up the starting quarterback, Moon.
Yeah,
Way to go, buddy.
but for the most part, it's been we've seen some good, and there's been ups and downs, kind of like what you expect out here. The defense has won a handful of snaps, but I think we saw Jonathan Taylor rip off a long run.
I did see that, man. Everybody got excited about that. Alec Pierce is not participating.
He's got a groin.
Me
so
too.
He's
yeah.
Yeah.
We both do.
So he's on the sidelines with a groin injury, and so A.D. Mitchell has taken his reps there. He did make one play deep down the sideline. So it's been, ups and downs.
Yeah, it's Casey Valier with us, by the way. If you're watching AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, a new stream text message system at 317-239-1070 if you would like to get involved in that. Do you guys have a way that people can get to you outside of social media?
Yeah, that's about it, really. I mean, I know that J.J. Stankovitz does a mailbag for his podcast, the Colts show that is on Thursdays. He does kind of like a mailbag section that you can email him. Yeah. But outside of that, to get in charge of Matt and I, it's really Twitter. I don't use Facebook or Instagram very much, so Twitter's about it, really. But I don't get many people asking for much. No critiques, no nothing.
Nothing at all?
Nothing.
Wow.
I'm more of a voyeur, if you will, on Twitter. I don't post very much.
You got a hell of a gig though, because you get to do all the shows, and then you do the pregame, and you do the halftime.
Yep.
And then you don't have to stay for the postgame.
Well, that's changing.
Oh, you got to stay for the postgame.
That's changing. So Bill and I'm hosting this year what's called Instant Reaction that you can find on Colts.com and all your podcast channels.
I stand corrected. Then.
Bill and I are going to record that following his postgame duties on home games and road
Why'd
games.
Why'd you agree to do that?
Well, because here's the thing. What happens is you have to wait, because it's with Bill, so you got to wait till Bill gets off the air from his postgame show, drives home. So typically you're like 4 hours after the game before you're doing it. So I'm like, hey, let's just streamline this, get this thing over while we're both there, and that way we can hit the pavement and not worry about anything on the way home.
How long does this last? Is it quick?
About a half hour.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, short and sweet. Yeah.
See, I'm just thinking about in terms of Greg Rakestraw.
Oh.
Where
that guy.
Where you got to be there until all hours of the night.
I mean, I filled in for Greg this past weekend, and I
wondered about that too. You did.
4 p.m. We started our
preseason game
show.
One post. I did that one time, and I thought this sucks so bad.
It's a call-in show. We got one call to open the show, and that was it. So a lot of Bill and I.
It sounds like All Request Saturday Night with Dave Smiley right there. One call, and that's going to be it. No, I'm just joking. Hey, by the way, shout out to our good friend Dave Smiley, and I think everybody knows I love Dave Smiley a great deal. I believe his show got nominated for a Marconi.
Oh, wow.
And it's not one of those jokes of awards like the Spectrums are around here. It's like a legitimate award.
Absolutely it is.
I know my friend Tony Katz has been nominated. He may have won it before, too, but I know he's at least been nominated for it. So shout out to Dave Smiley for being nominated for a Marconi. And we love it when you get recognition, not just within Indy, but within the state. I know IKY, I don't know if they're an affiliate of yours.
I think
WIKY, an affiliate in Evansville. They've been nominated for a Marconi. That's a historic, many decades station, great content and such. So, yeah, I saw that a little bit earlier today. I'm always proud to talk. I don't care if you work at our station, our building, a different station. I love it when radio in our state is recognized.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
And the Smiley Show, I mean, they've been doing it at a high level for a long time. So
well, that's what they think, yeah. I think they just kind of jack around for 4 hours a day. But there's something to be said about if you jack around and people dig it, that's great.
And the longevity of that show, I mean, there are shows that pop up and go.
It's outlasted Dave Smiley's hairline, too, man. It's like, so the hairline's been left behind right there. But no, congratulations to Dave and the gang there, and Nikki and everybody for that. That's pretty awesome for the Smiley Morning Show. Hey, I'm curious. You mentioned Ward, the interception of Richardson. How else has the offense looked in these certain situations?
Yeah, I think until I kind of stepped over here, I would say that the first team offense looked a little bit better, and that was highlighted by Daniel Jones to start. Yep. Now, I think they flopped it. I think Anthony's now getting those first-team reps. I thought Anthony's first set was a little up and down. Daniel Jones was able to move the football down the field. They scored a touchdown. And I thought ultimately the offense has looked better today than it did yesterday. We've seen some splash plays out of the tight ends not named Tyler Warren, which is a good thing. We saw Will Mallory have a couple really nice plays here today. Jelani Woods scored a touchdown, so that's good for him. But for the most part, I think if you're grading the quarterbacks of today, I think Daniel Jones right now has a leg up, but there's still a good 45 minutes left to practice. So
it's Casey Valier, the Colts Radio Network, got a new interesting twist to the post games that we'll let you in on once again. Coming up in just a minute. What are you looking forward to the joint practices with the Packers? I should say the joint practice with the Packers on Thursday.
Yeah, the biggest thing, I mean, part of it's wild to think that when the joint practice is over, that breaks camp here for where we are up here at Westfield, which
that is wild.
In years past, typically you go up to that final preseason game, but with everything being in Cincinnati, they're going to break camp and that'll be it. But I think ultimately, I wasn't in Baltimore, but I heard a lot of really good things. It sounded like offense and defense had some very bright spots against a really good Ravens team. So I would say just carrying that over, because the Packers is another team that they're probably going to be a playoff team. So you're going to get a bunch of really good dudes out here you're going up against when you're going on these individual and team periods against the Packers. So you want to see them be competitive again, just to give you a little bit more hope. Because, I mean, Thursday, I think we'd all agree that that preseason game was kind of what you would expect of a preseason game one. Just a lot of ups and downs, just a little kind of game. I'm expecting kind of the same in preseason game two, because you're going to get a lot of that run there in the joint practice on Thursday. So I really just want to see them pick up where they left off last week in Baltimore.
So, and I brought this up, we talked to Rick Venturi about that, again, a part of the Colts pregame huddle with us, even more so this season than he has been in the past, which we're very excited about. But he had mentioned just the level of importance Thursday and Saturday has in terms of this whole quarterback situation.
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, I would assume that you'd want to have a really good idea on who the guy is, if there still is that competition heading into next week. But you'd really like for that final preseason game to be that typical dress rehearsal for the ones.
Yeah.
So you'd almost hope that decision is kind of made. So that would make, this Thursday and Saturday weigh very, very heavily on what it's going to look like. We haven't seen Anthony really favoring the pinky, so that's positive news for him.
How do you favor the pinky?
I don't know. It doesn't.
How does that happen?
Essentially, it doesn't look like the ball's coming off his hand any different. Doesn't look like he's lost any distance or velocity on his pass. So I think that's one of the things you look at. So
I should have brought that up. I wish I would have came up with the favoring the pinky.
Favoring the pinky. There you go. You could take that. Take that completely as yours.
When you just leave it hanging out there.
It's like when you drink a glass of wine,
Leave it hanging. I'm favoring the pinky right there as well. That is Casey Valier. Hey, defensively, you mentioned that Mooney Ward had a pick of Anthony Richardson, the fourth during camp so far this year. Who else has looked good? Everybody talks about Laiatu Latu. Why?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would give him credit for another sack again today. He has just been consistent pressure. And that he said before, I think it was during OTAs the first time that we talked to him in the offseason, that he wanted a sack a game. That was his goal, which is lofty. But what we've seen out here, he looks like the game is slowing down, and he's kind of maybe worked on some new moves in the offseason that are getting him, he's more of your speed rusher. He's not, going to be your power guy. So he's got to work on, that way to get.
That is such a game changer and something that is unrecognizable from a fan base for this team, because it's been so damn long since we went over something the other day with double-digit sacks.
It's unreal.
And since Robert Mathis and the Dwight Freeney era, you've had two.
Yes.
And one was like, and nothing against Eric Walden, but the dude just kind of ran into him.
100%. It was a lot of coverage sacks that year for him.
And then Justin Houston was 1,000 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, and
that's it.
It is crazy when you think about it. I think the number was since 2002, the guys not named Freeney or Mathis that have gotten double-digit sacks are just Eric Walden and Justin Houston.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know in some ways you think about 2002, and those were really good years for the Colts, but that's a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Like, that is something that is very needed for this defense, and if Laiatu Latu really continues to take that next step. Now, we saw flashes of really good stuff last year during training camp, and then, every rookie kind of has that learning curve. They hit that rookie wall, so we're hoping here in year 2 he's found ways to kind of avoid, where those slumps that he saw in his season, but he's looked really good in camp.
It's Casey Valier with us. And again, Mooney is going to join us at a pick in camp a little bit earlier. We'll talk with him about that, and the Packers coming in here for a joint practice on Thursday and then a preseason game coming up on Saturday. Hey, by the way, Colts pregame huddles on Saturday. What do we got for everybody, bud?
Yeah, we'll be live at Touchdown Town. First time we'll be for a home game live at Touchdown Town. You can come say hi. It'll be JMV, myself, Bill Brooks, and Joe Wrights. Now, Joe and I will have to leave probably about a half hour into the show just because we're both on the radio broadcast. But we'll have, like you said, Rick Venturi is going to join us for a couple segments, which is awesome. We asked him if he was okay to do a little bit more, and he kind of said, hey, I can host the show if you want it. So, we can have Rick as long as we want, and we're going to have a little bit of Lara Overton as well. So, yeah, come out and join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's nice to have a couple preseason games to close that are 1 o'clock games, so it gets us into that.
I like that a lot.
That
was it last year?
Cadence.
But there was one on a Saturday that came at about 5 o'clock. Was it?
Yeah.
Because I was down there. I think I had to go from 5 until 7, and then did the JMV takeover opposite.
Yes,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So we don't have to worry about that this year. We got pregame huddle starting at 10 o'clock locally here on Saturday. So come out and join us.
That's awesome. All right, one more time, explain what you and Bill Brooks are going to do after Colts games.
Yeah. So we're going to do. It's called Instant Reactions. The second year of this podcast, so it's going to be me and Bill, and it's a video form. So we'll throw audio online, but there'll also be a video component of just essentially the first digestion of whatever the game was, outcomes, reasons why, who played well, who didn't, and then kind of a quick preview of what's coming up next. A quick little 20 to a half hour little segment, but it's called Instant Reaction. You can find it on Colts.com and all your Colts audio podcast channels.
Man, that should be fun.
Yeah, looking forward.
And only 30 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie to you. I love working with Bill. I do a handful of things with Bill. He makes it real easy. So when they asked me to do this, it was a very easy, no problem.
How did things go on Thursday? Because I was in Franklin at Legends for a golf outing. You guys were downtown. Everything seamless?
Everything was good.
Did I hit the mark? I hit that money thing.
You did. That was solid. Yep.
Yeah.
And there was an intern. There was not an intern, but there was a guy shadowing in there with Nathaniel, and he was like, wow, that was impressive. Boom.
Hell yeah, baby. That's professional grade right there.
That's right.
Always good to see you, Case.
You too, man.
And know that Dev now understands on Thursday, table number 2 is not an option, my brother. You remember that? Because look at him over there.
Here's what we can do. We'll just set him up side by side, and we'll just block this hole.
Here's what you can do. We can both have it. If you just move that one, can you not move that a little further
for
out?
Sure. Yeah.
Who the hell set that up right there?
That wasn't
Who's
me.
doing this? Who's the operations
here? Yeah, the events people here at the Colts.
I have lobbied, and this is a true story, and if you guys are watching via the AAA membership lounge, I've lobbied to do this show live from the Crapper because
it's nice in there.
My God. And it smells
fancy.
Great. It doesn't smell like pee at all in
there. It's fancy. Yeah.
I mean, it's great. It smells great, and it's cool. I said, can we do this show from the Crapper out here? It's like the best part about it. Seriously, I mean, I think the Crapper's probably better. Do they have suites over there?
They do, yeah.
I think the Crapper's better than the suites.
Well, I don't know. I haven't been up to the suites.
Where do they get those Crappers? Because if I ever have a party, that's where I'm going. Can we give somebody a shout out?
Yeah, we can. Let's see if we can.
Hey, Dev, do you know where they get those quality? It's got to be called quality crappers because it's AC. It is literally 50 degrees in there. It makes it so easy to urinate. It feels like I'm at home. Like, I always thought the best toilet outside of my own is at Von Mar. That may be better than the Von Mar toilet.
Is Von Mar still around?
Von Mar's got the Greenwood toilet. Sometimes if I'm passing by, I'll just go in and go, wow, this is the best toilet of all time right here.
Service Sanitation.
Service Sanitation. Shout out to Service Sanitation. Service Sanitation.
It is great in there. Not going to lie to you. It's a very nice trailer bathroom that you can, they drop it off, and I mean, you're right, it don't smell in there.
Oh, I wanted to do the show. I mentioned that to Dev right at the start. I go, man, the sun's going to be right here. I said, let's go in the toilet and do this thing. It is awesome. So we're doing the Labor Day weekend bender coming up here in a couple of weeks at Mystic Waters. What's it called again?
Service Sanitation.
Service Sanitation. Would you like to bring one of those bad boys up there?
There you go.
And put that right next to my cabin. Next to it.
John, you're selling your show right now. There you go.
I love you, Service Sanitation.
Boom.
I could not believe how great it's.
James, cut that for a promo. Send it off. Boom, you're in.
Normally you walk in someplace and go, man, this place smells like pee. But well, it should because it's the bathroom. But no, it's great. Case, man, I appreciate you.
Yep.
Look at that guy back there. His name is Rick Venturi.
There's the man.
Yeah.
He didn't think you could actually shoot, John.
You saw it, though, didn't you, buddy? I'm telling you. Listen, I am a manimal now, Rick. Absolute manimal. Mooney Ward's going to join us coming up in a bit. Case, thanks, man.
Of course, John. Appreciate you.
Casey Valier, Colts Radio Network, the Colts pregame huddle's got all that content for you, whether you're talking about it on the radio or digitally speaking at Colts.com. That is Casey Valier right there. At the end of practice, Mooney is going to join us, and Mooney had himself an interception of Anthony Richardson. We'll ask him why he did that. Coming up here, I'm sure he's going to love it phrased that way. Quick break, we'll come back. I have time at 239-1070 if you would like to indulge yourself into the quarterback conversation, Colts training camp conversation, anything else you want to hit, we can do it right here. 239-1070 live at training camp on a Monday. Thank you all for joining us. The stream, the app, HD radio, and a shout out to our AAA membership folks. It's 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Excuse me, Robo. Any special message for all the kids watching at home?
Stay out of trouble. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Mooney's going to be on the show coming up in a bit. Yeah, I was there last Wednesday. Toto, Men at Work, and this man, Christopher Cross. That was a hell of a show. Mooney picked off Anthony Richardson. We're going to ask him why he did that. Coming up a little bit later on. You hear that laugh?
Love Mooney.
We've got two awesome individuals with us right now. Lara Overton and Jamie Little with us, both. Now, how'd you guys find me? Is it just a luck?
Well, lucky for us.
Yes.
We were actually gravitating toward the shade,
yes.
Is what we were doing.
But then you stopped here with some bugs and, and the sun and everything.
I couldn't pass up the opportunity to come and hang out with you.
You know how that makes me feel.
You've been here a couple of times for camp. We had those early practices.
This is the second, and I'll be here a third on Thursday.
So the few opportunities we get with you, we had to stop by and say hi.
How are you doing, Jamie?
I'm doing fantastic. Just palling around with her, being her intern.
Wow. And you're in the midst of a lot of things going on right now, too, aren't you?
Yes, got NASCAR Truck Series doing play-by-play every Friday for that. But I'm a huge Colts fan. My family and I, we have season tickets, and I love Lara's work. And I reached out to her, and I was like, can I tag along at camp? I just want to see what it's like to be a reporter covering football. I do, Zionsville.
So I didn't know you lived in Zionsville. What the hell?
I've been here about 8 years now.
Oh, man.
Yeah, back when I used to cover Indy 500 and the whole series, and I did your show, I never was a Hoosier, so now I'm a Hoosier.
Now you're a Hoosier in Zionsville. So how are things going on the truck series? You like doing that?
It's going great. I love doing it. You know, it's nice because you work maybe a weekend or two, then you get a weekend off. You don't get that on the Cup side of things.
I think that it is, at times, often more entertaining than the other two.
I hear that a lot because it's like 2 hours.
Right.
You get the whole race in.
Right.
Every lap counts. It's kind of like an IndyCar race. You know, start to finish, it's going to be 2 hours of your time. It's going to be exciting.
Now, the players jealous because you guys take all the attention away from the fans. You guys are walking around the sideline.
Pretty sure their backs are
nobody
to us.
looking about this quarterback battle. Let me tell you that.
I tell you what, we've been walking around and everyone keeps stopping and they do a double take.
I guarantee they're stopping.
Well, is that Jamie Little? Because I think they're like, hold on. It's all sorts of racing fans that are like, am I seeing this right? This isn't, we're not on pit road here. We're out in Westfield.
Oh.
I'm incognito over here, all Colts out.
You did Colts yourself out right there. Didn't you? Now, do you go to games too?
Oh, I do. We're season fans. Like, we are in the stands for every game. Starting Saturday, I have a truck race Friday. I land at 11. I'm going straight to the stadium, meeting my husband and kids there. So I cannot wait.
I actually think that's how we met initially. Obviously, I'd followed you forever, and we have lots of mutual friends, but it was on a game day. I saw Jamie and her family while I was down doing, some pregame stuff, walking around, finishing up notes and things. And we just chatted on the sidelines maybe 2 or 3 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And then Jamie reached out and asked if she could come hang for a practice.
Wow. Hey, the ever-changing landscape of covering races is interesting, though, isn't it? I mean, it is.
Things are changing at such a rapid pace. I mean, I feel like it is across the board in television in general, for sure. But you got to stay on top of it. I tell people it's not just a job. It is a lifestyle, and you've got to be on top of what's happening. Every day things are changing in this whole landscape. I mean, we've got drivers changing rides right now mid-season. Like, you normally don't see it. You hear about it in silly season, but you see it at Daytona. So, it's a lot, but it's fun. It keeps you on your toes.
When you were part of it, one thing, but on the outside looking in, like a season Alex Palou had, where does that stand? And I'm talking about with all major forms of racing involved, that was as dominant as we have seen in forever.
Absolutely. I mean, any championship, you're like, you know what it took. The heart, soul. I mean, starting at 3 years old, racing go-karts to get that one championship. But to back it up again, and now he's won 4 championships. He's unreal. Like, I would love to see the guy move up to F1 just to see what he can do and how he can compete with those. But if he can't get in a great ride, why leave IndyCar? Like, he is he's rewriting the record books. And he won the Indy 500, never won on an oval, 3-time champion, and then he gets it done at the biggest race.
We have seen the best drivers try to make a transition to NASCAR, and sometimes Juan Pablo Montoya, I thought, did a good job, but Dario Franchitti, maybe not so much. You can argue Danica Patrick's status there. Would he be somebody that, he's not going to, but would he be somebody that you think could make that transition, or is it just that difficult?
It's really tough to say because somebody that you expect would be great in a stock car, it's like, They didn't fare so well.
Right.
You know, Dario got hurt over there. It's like you go over, he said, I thought I was coming to the safest sport. You know, I've got a roof over my head.
No doubt.
And then I break my arm or whatever it was.
Bumpers and everything.
I know. But Alex, he's just so gifted and so talented, and it's much more than turning left or turning right and using your gas pedal. Like, that guy just figures it out. It's like we talk about the quarterbacks, and with that experience and talent, you just know how to shift and what to do that goes beyond the scope of what your play is. And I feel like somebody like Alex, he's so good. He would figure it out for sure.
You would think so. That's Jamie Little right there, the truck series. It is Craftsman Truck Series.
It
again,
is.
Is it not,
it
too?
is.
Which is
it's
awesome.
It's like a throwback.
Well, I will say this. I think one of the best races on the calendar anywhere is Lucas Oil Raceway and the Truck Series. I know it was a dominant performance a couple of weeks ago, but still, that is one of the most enjoyable races because you can, every single inch you can see, which is pretty amazing.
You know, I was just talking to some people on the sidelines saying the same thing. That is their favorite truck race. And I agree. I mean, it goes back to the Xfinity Series. They raced there forever. Dale Senior, you name them, they raced over there. And it's like it's a short track showdown under the lights in Indianapolis. It doesn't get better. It was so much fun to call that race a couple of weeks ago. But Lane Riggs got it done. But it's been fun.
Dominant.
You know, the great thing about the truck series is you're seeing the talent. You know, like these guys, you're watching them in college. Our future stars on Sundays, you're watching them in the truck series. So by the time they get there on Sunday, you're like, yeah, I knew that guy had it in him. You know, it's really fun to develop that and show the fans who these people are.
You ever see somebody fall out of the car after a win and break their collarbone?
No.
Wait, that happened this weekend, right?
Yes. This weekend,
Probably the most talented prospect coming up, 19 years old, Connor Zillage. Mark down his name because he is the future superstar of the sport. The poor kid dominates. First full year, he's a rookie in Xfinity, won his 6th race of the season, which is unheard of. Gets out of his car to celebrate, and his foot gets stuck like he slips on the window net, and I thought he was going to break his leg. He goes down, knocks himself out, and broke his collarbone.
Well, yes. It's something, too, where you see guys celebrate that way all the time. It wasn't that he was being over the top or boisterous. I mean, I heard him say, I was listening to the morning show when I was driving up earlier, and they were saying that he actually said he was just grateful he could walk. Is that right? Like, he thought it could have been.
It could have been a broken leg. I thought it was. Like, when he hit the ground, you're just like, oh, my gosh.
Well, you think about anything. I mean, you think about hits on the football field. You talk about Dario being, you know, getting injured and doing that. I mean, it could just happen.
And that's in victory lane. Like, the dude just scrapped for 2.5 hours and gets this win and avoided contact and then gets hurt celebrate, you know, just getting out of his car. But hopefully he's only out for a couple more weeks because the championship, the playoffs are starting. I want to see what this kid can do.
So Jamie Little and Lara Overton, what are you guys going to do besides cover? Are you going to cover the end of practice with Lara, too?
Yeah, I'm just going to hold her notebook and I'm going to watch what she does. I brought her coffee. I am doing the intern thing.
She did bring me coffee. She's like, can I bring you a coffee? I was like, I'll never turn that down.
Did you call yourself Lara's intern today?
Yes.
You may be the greatest intern of all time.
Great.
I've been in TV for 25 years, but I will gladly be an intern because it's such an honor to be here. I mean, I love these guys. Growing up on the West Coast, we didn't have a football team in Lake Tahoe or Las Vegas at the time, so I wasn't big into the sport until I moved to Indy, and now I'm just such a fan, and I just love learning about it.
Yeah, it's been really fun for us to kind of just compare notes on how we do things differently. I was telling her just what I was, watching for in practice and how I prep for preseason TV versus, regular season radio, just those different things.
And I told her I wanted her to come to a race and do the same thing.
I can't wait. I'm going to be watching.
Right?
I'll be watching. Hey, great to see you both.
Great
Jamie,
to see you.
Lara, thank you very much. Lara, we'll see a lot more of you. Hopefully
absolutely.
we'll see you at the games. Come to Touchdown Town sometime.
Okay, I'll come find you. We're there all the time.
Love to have it. Thank you, Jamie.
Good to see you.
Jamie and Lara right there with us, too. We got Mooney going to join us. I think practice is just ending. We'll take a break, James, and come back with a guy that had an interception of Anthony Richardson today. Mooney Ward on the other side, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
the cream, yeah, the cream of the crop. And there is no one that does it better.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
All right. Colts camp practice is done for on this Monday. We'll be back here coming up on Thursday, but with us now, first time he was on, he was outstanding. Mooney is in the house with us right now from that Colts secondary. Did you get yourself an interception this afternoon?
Yeah, I finally got me one, man. Finally got me one.
Are we feeling good about that? What? I didn't get a chance. I had like a 20-yard scope right here, so I didn't see it. Explain it to the folks out there.
Yeah, we were just in our version of cover 2. Good disguise by the entire defense. Great call by Coach Lou, and we showed all our pressure, and on the snap I came down, kind of played cover 2, and kind of fooled the officer a little bit, and he gave me a good little Christmas present. Good little gift. Yes, sir. A good gift. Yes, sir.
So you mentioned Coach Lou. How has your acclimation been to his defensive philosophies?
It's been fun, man. It's been challenging, too, at the same time. It's a completely different scheme than what I played last year. And, the past 3 years with the 49ers, we're a press team now. You know, a lot of man-to-man. I think I heard around the building that we didn't play a lot of man-to-man last year with the coach. So, Coach Lou, man, he aggressive, man. Like, he not scared to get up there and challenge guys no matter who the receiver, who the quarterback is. So, it's been fun to acclimate, you know, kind of relearn how to play man-to-man in their press technique.
So, we talked about this. You're a basketball fan, and we were talking about that before we got back here. They played a lot of zone in the past, and now it's a lot more man-to-man. Are there like applicables you can make from basketball terminology to football terminology defensively, going from man-to-man?
Yeah, so it's kind of playing corner is the exact same as playing defense in basketball. You basically just stand in front of a man the whole game. So you got to have real good lateral movement. That's like the main thing when it comes to playing press man at corner. Have good eyes on the hips, and you know, real good lateral movement, some quickness and explosiveness. And I think if you rep it every day, it's not that bad to do.
I don't know if you want to say this because I know you guys don't like to give up this information, but who's the toughest to cover?
The toughest to cover?
Yeah.
In the league?
In the league. Not just out here right now, but anywhere.
Man, I don't know if you're going to like my answer, but I kind of don't like putting guys on a pedestal, you know what I'm saying?
That's why I phrased it in the fashion I did.
Even though I'm competing against them, so I kind of want to look at them as like they're on the same level as me, you know what I mean? So I don't want to say this guy is super hard to cover and put him like on a pedestal above everybody else. So
that's why I phrased it that way.
Yeah, I just feel like, man, I can cover anybody in the league as long as I got good eyes and good technique, and I think I can win 90% of my matchups.
Do you ever hear other corners give a name and go, yeah, I don't know about that?
Yeah, man, a lot of guys name their top 5 guys, but it's like kind of like you kind of like making them a idol. You kind of like idolizing them a little bit. Even though, you know, you got to respect everybody game in the league because a lot of guys present a lot of different challenges. Like it's a lot of 6'4", 6'5" guys, big guys. Then it's a lot of guys that run 4'2", 4'3". So, and it's quick guys too at the same time. So a lot of guys present different challenges. But you know, me, I just try to go in and study every game my opponent, and you know, as long as I do that, know the guy I'm going up against, I win a lot of.
You feel like before every game, you know exactly where the person you're going to be on is going every step. I mean, can you predict it?
Yeah, not every step, but you can get a pretty good feel for the guy. You know what I'm saying? Me, I've been in the league for 8 years now, so you know I done played a lot of ball at the highest level too, 3 Super Bowls, a lot of playoff games too. So I kind of like know a lot of the guys in the league tendencies. So yeah, this experience helped me out a lot for sure.
How much watching tape does that help? How much just, as you mentioned, going through the process of playing? How much is it in comparison?
Just watching tape is basically like studying for a test in college. You know, we all went to college and trying to ace those finals. So it's just like kind of taking a test in college, is knowing what you're getting, kind of trying to know that guy's movements, you know, his tails and everything like that, and it'll put you in good situations during the game.
It's Mooney with us for the Colts secondary. Again, the joint practice coming up against the Packers on Thursday, and then preseason game 2 coming up on Saturday. You playing on Saturday? Do we know?
I don't know yet, to be honest, man.
Do you want to play on Saturday? Are you cool with playing in the preseason?
I don't mind playing in the preseason, man. It kind of get you lathered up and ready for the season. You definitely want to be ready for the season. Try to stay healthy and everything like that. But if coach throws out there for a drive or two, I'll be ready.
Is there something to be said about being better prepared when you get some preseason work in, whether it comes to covering or tackling or recognizing? Is there something to be said about that?
Yeah, it's basically kind of like fine-tuning your skills and getting your reaction time down pat. Kind of sometimes in practice, going against the same people over and over again, it can kind of get stale.
Yeah.
You can know what's coming all the time. So just getting a different look against a different team, it kind of ups your intensity a little bit. You know what I mean? So that definitely helps out a lot.
The reason why I bring that up is, and you probably are aware of this, there has been a start of the season struggle around here forever.
For the Colts?
And week number 1 forever.
Really?
We were trying to think about ways and means in which you can go about changing that up.
Man, we changing that this year, man. We coming out strong. We coming out strong. We looking forward, man.
So do you feel that here? I mean, you know better than anybody else. Do you kind of feel that out here right now with this group?
Definitely, man. I feel it from our leader, man. The head coach, man. You know, he got a sense of urgency about himself, and he kind of like sprinkling that down to, you know, every group on the field, every position group on the field, team meetings. You know, he trying to create that edge every day in practice. So it's definitely a sense of urgency around here, and we trying to come out strong.
How's he different from Kyle Shanahan, for example?
In what ways you mean?
I
like
don't know. Is it personality-wise, coaching style?
I mean, it's a lot of differences. I just feel like they both great coaches. I kind of don't really know how to compare them. Obviously, Coach Shanahan been doing it for a little bit longer. He's been, you know, to a little more Super Bowls and won a little bit more. But I definitely feel like Coach Shanahan, I mean, not Coach Shanahan, but Coach Steichen coming into his own, and, you know, we gonna shine this year.
How about compared to Andy Reid, for example?
Big Red?
Oh,
Big Red, legendary,
I got to call him Big Red.
I don't know now. Big Red, Big Red, legendary, man. I love Coach Andy Reid, man. He loved me, too. I talked to him a few times since I left the Chiefs, so I had a pretty good relationship with all the coaches that I've been with. And I think I've been with some 2 Hall of Fame coaches so far in my career, Coach Shanahan and Coach Reid. So hopefully Coach Steichen, you know, we can get to the Super Bowls and he can, you know, up his legend status too. We talked about this back, I think, in March when you proved yourself, when you felt you kind of flipped that switch and proved yourself in the NFL. What moment was that? And I'm assuming it was in Kansas City. Do you remember it vividly? Kind of like my 4th year in Kansas City, man. I didn't get many accolades my 4th year in Kansas City, but my coaches started to begin to trust me to travel with the number 1 receiver every game. You know what I mean? And that's like, oh, snap, like I'm CB1 now. You know what I mean? So I got to come out every game knowing on 3rd down, on backside by myself, the ball coming my way. And most of the times I was making plays that year. So that led me to getting a real big, you know, a nice contract with the 49ers. So once I got paid, man, I just kept trying to get better and better. Then eventually I, you know, went AP on them. Were they disappointed when you left initially there? The 49ers? Yeah. Yeah, I was disappointed. They were disappointed, you know, because it was a good personal and business relationship both ways. I feel like we both won. You know, I won, you know, financially, and they won, you know, by the way I played. So it was a real good relationship with the 49ers. I miss them. You mentioned that you thought initially back in free agency you were going to New Orleans. I thought I was going to New Orleans. It was because did they come at you hard? Yeah, they did, man. It was kind of like you know, going through what I went through last year, my biggest thing was like location. You know what I'm saying? I kind of want to be around my family. So I'm from Mississippi, which is 2 hours from New Orleans, my hometown, Macomb, Mississippi, and I stay in Dallas now, which is only like an hour and a half flight from New Orleans. So I kind of wanted to be down there, but I mean, the coach came. They was like, man, we want you, we need you. So I was like, let's do it, let's get it done. Let's get it done, man. I'm repping that blue now, man. I mean, we doing it for the shoe this year. Well, you're looking, you're looking at the secondary. They came at you and Cam really hard. Yeah, man, we got to come out. There's a dude to your left right there that brings a lot of force up front. Big Grove, man. Yeah, Big Grove, fun guy, man. Fun guy to be around. Yeah. That's what I hear. He like Peter Griffin, you know, family guy. Is he really? Is he? Well, wait. You know, everybody love him, man. Everybody love Grove, man. Is it not? Does he do an impression, a Family Guy impression? Nah. No, he just. That's what he like. Nah, he's just a fun lover. He brings. You got to have somebody to keep it loose. Yeah, he bring the joy to everybody here around, man. Everybody. I would assume though, you got to have somebody like Grove to keep it loose, but you can't have somebody that keeps it loose not perform at a high level on the field either. I mean, you got to bring them both, don't you? Yeah, he's definitely a big dog on and off the field, man. You know, everybody respect him on the field, off the field. So I look forward to seeing my boy make some plays, cause some havoc this season, man. Get some sacks, run stop, everything like that. Yes, how can you tell in camp that you have a defense that's coming along? Just the intensity, man. Just the intensity and the energy. You know, everybody celebrating when we make plays, having fun. You know, just having that swag, playing with confidence and not being scared of nobody, nothing, not complaining about calls. You know, like I said, man, just that energy and enthusiasm. Has he made wings for you over there yet? Made wings? What you mean? Chicken wings. You're not Grove? Yeah. Nah, not yet. I gotta pull up to the crib. He gotta invite me to the crib. It's Wait a minute. You haven't invited him over yet? That's all I hear about from everybody around here. I gotta go over there, man. We've been in camp though, so I feel like I'm introducing you guys right here. We ain't really had time yet. We gonna you know, enjoy it during the season for sure. When was that? They did that story. Was that last year or 2 years? No, it was Hard Knocks, man. I didn't watch Hard Knocks, man. I didn't watch Hard Knocks.
It was Hard Knocks a couple of years ago.
Bro, cooking that chicken.
That was the best. That's the best part of it.
Chef Stewart.
I tell you right there, man.
I'm gonna check it out.
So you're a basketball guy. You mentioned I think the first time we talked, you were a LeBron guy, but you got to tell me you fell in love with a little blue and gold. Did you not?
Yes,
in the
sir,
springtime?
man. Tyrese Halliburton, no man. Them boys cooking. Them boys balling. So I was rooting for them. You know, sad to see Tyrese go down, but man, they play hard. They made it to the finals. I'm looking forward to see them boys get back healthy and make another strong run.
Now
for
you
sure.
guys got to take that baton and run with it.
Yeah, we got to hold up our end of the bargain, man, on the gridiron, on the field. I think we will this year. We got a real good chance. Like I said, we just got to go out there and prove ourselves every day.
You finding your way around here too?
Oh, a little bit. Just got a new crib. About to move into my new home, man.
Yeah. Now you got to have a housewarming party.
I'm officially a resident of Indianapolis now, man.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You like it so far?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna like it. It's a good time. But we got to go put up hay at his place sometime too. Have you ever put up hay before?
Put a who?
Put up hay. He's got a farm.
He got a farm?
Pittman's got a farm.
Oh, he got money like that. He got acres out here.
You didn't put up hay in Macomb?
Nah, I didn't, man. I didn't.
Hey, great to see you, man.
Yes, sir. Good to see you, man.
That's Mooney right there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
Hey, Grove, have you put up hay at his farm yet?
Oh, you said put up hay?
Put up hay.
Oh, nah. I want to ride some horses, though.
All right.
I want to ride some horses. I hope he got some horses.
He's got
and
that
some
big
goats.
farm out there. He's got everything you need. Hey, Mooney, great to see you, man.
Yes, sir. Good
Great
to see
conversation.
you too, man.
It's Mooney
Appreciate
right there, everybody, with us from the Colts secondary. Had a pick earlier today. Colts in their joint practice against the Packers coming up on Thursday. And then preseason game number 2, that is on Saturday. Always good to hang with you, man. We'll do it again soon.
Yes, sir,
Enjoy that new house.
Yes, sir. Thank
Mooney,
you, man.
everybody right there. Grove is over there as well. And Michael Pittman Jr. that's got the farm. Hey, Grover, have you been to his farm? Yeah. Have you? Does he have to? You do chores out there? Have you had to do chores? Oh man, I love it. Yeah, these guys are all out here right now doing some conversations. All right, fellas. Jay's back in the studio. Thank you very much. Again, we're back here coming up on Thursday as we get you set for the joint practice. Actually, it's going to happen a little bit later on. We'll be here at 3. I'm at the State Fair coming up on Wednesday as well, so we'll talk with you coming up on Wednesday from the State Fair. Back in studio coming up tomorrow as well. And then, as I mentioned, too, we start a trend where we're going to be out more than we're going to be in. As I mentioned, leading up to Labor Day weekend, we've got a tavern tour stop. We're going to be on the square in Noblesville at Sid's as they've celebrated 80 years at Sid's this past weekend. We'll be back at Sid's for the tavern tour stop. We're going to be at Mystic Waters Campground for what is going to be a Labor Day weekend bender. You guys, I promise, will love that. Per usual, the 3rd annual JMV Takeovers out there on that Saturday night, Labor Day weekend. So be ready for that. And my man Bob Nunez, shout out to him, the president of Win Schuler's Spreadable Cheeses. Gang, you got it back. You secured it. The spreadability is back again with Win Schuler's Spreadable Cheeses. Hey, I'm honey roasted, Matt. I can't do anything about it, man. They just love me here. Bad indeed. Thanks, Matt, for that, by the way. Mooney was awesome, too. All right. Dev, great job out of you. Thank you very much. Everybody listening, thank you. James back at the studio. Big week coming up. We'll be back in studio coming up tomorrow as well, beginning at 3 o'clock. Thank you all for joining us. Jamie Little, Lara Overton, Casey Valier, Rick Venturi, Stephen Holder, John Nolan, all on the show today. The podcast at 1075thefan.com. Outstanding work, everybody. Back with you in studio tomorrow at 3.